hate when you elevate. They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out. Yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment. I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. Yeah. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way up, way too fly. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation, now I got rollies, all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Squatting all black like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. I had to prove to everybody else. I had to set them straight. Yeah, I had to ball, so I had to renovate. I know. You elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out. Yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment. I swear I could.
Yeah.
They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah, I had to elevate. Ooh, yeah. Why they wanna bring me down? So much drip, yeah, I almost drowned in it. I can't come in.
Salute, Jonathan 97. 2 cents in the building. Salute, Eastside Easy. Blessings, brother. Blessings right back at you, my brother Ray Davis in the chat. Salute.
Watch out, the engine is roaring. It's too loud, you can ignore it. Yeah. This that high life with a few. You get to have it all, no need to choose.
Yeah. What up with it? Back at it again. Oh, we solo tonight. Well, let's Ray pop up a little bit later. You know, he doing a little vacation thing with the family. So it's just me and you guys building up in the scene, building up in the space. The more I hear the intro, the more fire it sounds. I know, right, Eastside? It's because you're resonating. It resonates. It's a song that resonates, which is spirit. You know what I'm saying? About, especially if you're on the grind. You know what I mean? You know what it is with all the adversity out here and the things you got to do in order to separate yourself from the crowd. You know, we got to elevate, right? So of course, it'll resonate after a while. Salute to Lead Hand Media. Salute my G. Salute. Yeah, we back at it with another one. It's more boxing. I hope today's show we can steer at more boxing, talk about more boxing today than all this drama going on in the space. You know, I was on with Blue early today, a whole day of just defending. You know, just trying to put things into perspective. But, you know, people are just going to feel the way they feel about these topics. You know, they're going to stand on the side of the conversation they stand on. They're going to stand beside a fighter. They're going to stand beside whatever the point they got. You know what I mean? And what can we do? And are we responsible to do anything different, right? So at this point, we know what everybody's opinion is on the situation. Salute, Ray. We know what everybody's opinion is, right? So from our perspective, it's clear. We don't need to get that deep into it. But on the news side, the boxing news side of things, outside of the drama and all the nonsense and all the fights that are getting ready to come up, we're going to talk about that. But it looks like they put Shakur up to the they pushed him up to the front of a headlining this Saudi Arabia card. I'm not too sure, you know, from what I'm understanding, and I'm trying to get a hold of this and see what's going on. So it seems like Bob Arum and ESPN and Top Rank are having issues with Better BF and Bivol having this huge fight on a Saudi Arabia card. They want their piece of it, and they want that fight at a minimum to, you know, they want it to benefit ESPN. So they're pushing them up. They're pushing them up there. They're taking Better Beef and Bivol as the main event, and they're putting Shakur Stevenson and Joe Cordina as a headliner. I don't know how well that's going to do. I'm not going to lie to you guys, right? I mean, look, it's a whole different demographic out there. I know Joe Cordina is more known out there, and I'm not sure how much star power or how much he's pulling out there to pull eyes on a card, especially a pay-per-view card. Shakur Stevenson, this will be his first pay-per-view that he's headlining, and a lot of people, there's no secret. A lot of people salute Hood Rich in the building, salute my guy. A lot of people aren't really happy with this fight getting put together, right? They're really not. They're not too excited here in America, at least aren't too excited. It's going to be going on during the afternoon on a Saturday afternoon. There's going to be football. There's going to be all kind of things going on during the day. So, I don't hang my hat on pay-per-view numbers and things of that nature like that. So it doesn't really matter to me one way or the other how the pay-per-view does. The fight, the card has some good fights on it that I'm interested in seeing, and that's what we'll be looking for when that happens. And, of course, making our way over to ESPN Plus to see Better Beav Bivol, I guess, for free, I guess, not a pay-per-view, right? Which is a good thing to a degree for the people who don't want to pay for the pay-per-view. But you do pull like the biggest attraction. The card was really huge because of Better Beav Bivol. So, we'll see how that works out. That sounds like a little bit of a block in the road. Doesn't seem like that would be something that Turkey or Eddie Hearn or anybody involved with that Riyadh season card would be looking forward to happen. Or, I'm sure it's a big blow to the card, but that's how the ball bounces, right? Let's see what's going on in here. Yeah, AK Crowder, we are back at it again. Joseph Johnson in the building. Salute, King. Salute, King. Salute, King. Salute. So, in other news, Devin Haney, right? Devin Haney, Liam Paro in discussions for a December showing. What does that mean? What does that mean at this point? Devin Haney, who said he was going to take a hiatus, now is showing back up. He said, listen, I've been gone long enough. Let's get back in the game. I myself thought that Devin Haney was going to be heading towards a 147-pound weight class division, or maybe even like a catchweight fight. So to hear him coming back to challenge Liam Paro for his IBF title, and I'm assuming being that he's a champion in recess, WBC champion in recess, that this will be some sort of a unification title fight, maybe that's what it looks like. And I think it's important, right? Whether it's a unification title fight or whether it's a regular fight, because we all know that the IBF has their rehydration clauses, right? We understand how that works out, right? So Devin Haney may be putting himself in a position, if this is not considered a unification title fight, this kind of puts him in a position where he has to fall under that rehydration clause, which means Devin can't come into the next day. He can't come in over 10 pounds, which would be 150 pounds. Now, we all know that Devin Haney's been known to rehydrate up to as far as 160, 165 pounds. Rumors out there saying around 170 pounds. So him having to stay down there around 150, I'm interested in seeing what that looks like for him. Salute to 2 Cents. Good for him. Yeah, for sure. It is a good look for him. And you got to think that Devin Haney's put some thought into this, and Devin Haney and his father and his team, really business-minded people. You would think that they would have gone ahead and put in the precaution. They did the research and put themselves in position to where that rehydration clause was going to be a factor, right? Why put Devin in a comeback fight against somebody like Liam Paro, who's a boxer puncher? He can box southpaw. He can box orthodox. He has power in both hands. He brings a lot of different dynamics. He brings some dynamics to this fight that in my opinion makes this fight a very competitive fight. Now, Liam Paro's kind of like just shining on the scene ever since he had his victory over Montana Love. Then obviously we saw him take it to the next level with Subriel Matias, right? We saw him do that, but at the same time, kind of new to Americans and what he does, but he showed a lot, especially with the Subriel Matias fight, right? He really showed how he can adjust and that he can come in different ways. He can sit there on the inside, right? Keep it a mid-range fight, and he can be effective, but he can also box when he needs to, and he can cut the ring off from somebody like a Montana Love that was moving around the way he was in there. And he was able to find Montana Love and ultimately stop him. So he's shown his ability to box very well, and this is going to be a very interesting fight for Devin Haney. A fight that will put him back on the map if he's able to pick that win up and pick that IBF title up, and then sit on his WBC title, and then probably be forced to either fight Alberto Puello or Sandro Martin if they're still scheduled to fight each other, and get that title back altogether, being that Alberto Puello sitting on the WBC title right now, being that Devin Haney kind of pulled out of the situation, right? pulled out of the whole, said he was going on the hiatus just to come back, 4 or 5 months later? I don't know. What we got going on in the chat. Country Q in the building. Salute, my guy. What up, Clay? Checking in, trying to catch up. What we talking about? Well, we talking about boxing tonight, Country Q. We're going to talk about Devin. We're going to talk about Keyshawn and Gustavo Lemos, which I think is going to be a epic fight. I ain't going to lie to you. I think that fight's going to be one of those fights. Just look for a sequel to the fight that Keyshawn had with Miguel Madueñas, which was an awesome fight, in my opinion. It's one of those fights that don't get talked about enough, but I definitely put it in the conversation right there next to that Sergey Bohachuk and Virgil Ortiz fight, right? In my opinion, they stole the show that night, right? In my opinion, Keyshawn Davis and Miguel Madueñas stole the show that night on that card that Shakur was fighting on. It was the best fight on the card, in my opinion. And it looks like Keyshawn's set up to have another one of those nights because Gustavo Lemos, you guys should remember, if you don't, that he actually was at 140, fought Richard Hitchinson. But this guy fights at 135. But he went up in weight, fought Richard Hitchinson in a fight where it was very, it was arguably people felt like he won that fight, that Richard Hitchinson didn't win that fight. At a minimum, Richard Hitchinson really struggled in that fight, to say the least, right? Lemos brings that Argentinian energy, right? The Brian Castaños, the Marcos Maidanas, right? That style of fighting, coming forward, keeping his head moving, but crazy hooks, a lot of body shots, very close in mid-range, a lot of power, you know what I mean? And going into that fight against Richard Hitchinson, I think he went like 10 straight stoppages between TKOs and knockouts. So this guy comes in to get you out of there. This is going to be arguably Keyshawn Davis's biggest fight that he's had as far as competition is concerned, right? But this is a fight that also is stylistically in place to really allow Keyshawn Davis to really show and expose what he's really built like, what he does, the action-packed must-see boxer that he proclaims he is. And, in my opinion, he delivers, right? He delivers on that energy in the ring. And Lemos is going to be right there. He's going to be his Huckleberry, right? He's going to be in that ring, and he's going to make it an action-packed evening. I'm really excited to see that fight come together. I don't think the contract or the paperwork's all the way done. I don't think it's locked in, but they are looking for a November 8th date, which is going to be a Friday night, right? A Friday night fight. You know how ESPN has these Thursday and Friday night fights that they're doing. So, but it'll be in Keyshawn Davis's hometown, Norfolk, Virginia, and I'm assuming he'll be headlining that card, right? So Bob Arum definitely looking for his next star, you can say. It used to be Shakur Stevenson. We know Shakur moved on to greener pastures. Now that Keyshawn Davis is there, it looks like he's trying to put more effort into putting Keyshawn Davis to the front. And then we got Abdullah Mason as well. That boy don't stop, right? I don't know, what is it, 7 fights in the calendar year? He's super active, and he's going up against I can't remember his name right now off the top of my head, but this guy's supposed to be somewhat of a knockout artist, even though he hasn't knocked anybody out in the longest time. This guy's, got obviously a losing record, but I don't want to say obviously, but the guy comes with a lot of power. He's going to come in there and try to, cause some problems for Abdullah Mason. I don't expect Abdullah to really have too many problems, but this is definitely an opportunity for Abdullah Mason to continue to show the world that he's must-see boxing, something that I think he's kind of pretty much doing already, right? His performances are so exciting. Salute to Bruce Gas Boxing in the building. Salute, King. Salute. Teach in the building. What Teach saying? There's no unification with Devin and Paro. Puello's the WBC champ at 140. Claymore. Okay. You know what I'm saying, Teach? That's what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out, Teach, right? Obviously, I'm hearing information on the other side of the conversation as well, Teach. I'm hearing people saying that, they're going to, I guess they're fighting for it, because from what I understand, Alberto Puello is in contention of that. And if he's fighting for them to acknowledge him as a champion and not allow Devin Haney to be involved in a title unification fight, obviously there's some lines being crossed. So we'll see how that develops. But I'll tell you this, Teach, if it's not a unification title fight, because Devin Haney is a WBC champion in recess, if it's actually not that, then we're going to have to deal with Devin Haney, who's going to have to deal with those bylaws with the IBF, right? He's going to have to watch out for that rehydration clause, keep it at 150. It's going to be interesting to see what Devin Haney's been working on since he's been gone. Like, obviously, he must feel confident that he has this weight issue thing in check, right? Where he doesn't plan on rehydrating up 15, 20 pounds, 25 pounds on the evening. that's a good thing or that's a bad thing? Well, I think it's a good thing because if he's able to maintain it, then, we're looking at a better conditioned, better in shape Devin Haney, who has control of these things. Maybe he got a little lazy and got used to just putting on that weight, and dealing with it the snack way, right? Or we'll see what happens if they don't even put the rehydration clause on them, if they make it a unification title fight. We'll see how that looks. What do we got going on in here? Mason stay working. Definitely 2 cents. Mason stay working, man. He's definitely going to be the conversation. He's going to be one of the biggest topics in the game, I believe, next year. I mean, this kid is really shaking up the space in a real aggressive. Bob Arum sees it in him, and Bob Arum is putting all of his resources to use to get behind Abdullah Mason, to put Abdullah Mason in front of us as much as he can. And when you see a promoter grab a fighter like that and start giving that kind of attention, he sees what we're seeing at this point, right? So you can only imagine what great things we got to see from Abdullah Mason coming next year. I don't even know if this fight he's fighting, if it's going to be a 10-round fight. You would expect that this would be a 10-round fight. His last fight, I believe, was an 8-round fight. So this will be a 10-round fight. So they're getting them going, man. They're getting them in the conversation of must-see boxing. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Teach WBC website shows him as the champion. Shows Abdullah. Okay. All right, Teach. No doubt. No doubt, brother. So I guess that's what it's going to be. We're going to find out, right? We're going to find out. You know how the WBC works. You know that they can freestyle it. It can look like what it's supposed to be, but, they make exceptions all day long, especially when we're talking about the WBC. So, but I'm sure you're right, though. As far as I know, Teach, before you even said that, that's how I looked at it as well. I looked at it as Alberto Puello was the WBC champion. As a matter of fact, I looked at it that his actual first title defense was going to be against Sandor Martin, right? Which I'm not even sure if that's even put on wax yet when they're going to fight. That's how I looked at it, right? But rumor mills out there saying that it's going to be a title unification fight. And they're saying that specifically in the sense of whether or not Devin Haney is going to be held under that rehydration clause or not with the IBF. Because if this is not a title unification fight, then this falls under IBF rules. And that changes the whole conversation on what Devin can and can't do, right, in that fight. What's going on here? I've seen Abdullah ringside a couple times. He is him 100%, Country Q, 100%. JR Spock, what up? What up, Jonathan 97? I'm becoming frustrated with Mason avoiding any real challenge. JR, I don't know if he's avoiding. I don't think that's fair to say, JR. Is he avoiding? I don't think he's avoiding. I think he's allowing Top Rank. He's allowing Bob Arum. He's allowing that team over there to guide him, to just keep him busy. And as long as they're keeping him busy, the Mason family, that whole entire team, they're going to sit there humbly and they're going to fight whoever they put in front of them. Very similar to like how Tank Davis was handled by PBC, right? When he first came under Floyd Mayweather and the Mayweather promotion, and the PBC was just, Tank would let everybody know openly, listen, I don't call fighters out. Whoever they put in front of me is who I'm going to fight. You see where that landed Tank today, right? The kind of revenue that he brings in, the face of boxing accolades that he gets, and just ultimately the skill set. You just get better when you're getting matched up like that. You're just getting better. So I'm not going to say Mason is doing that. I feel that's kind of unfair to put that on Abdullah Mason's neck, that he's avoiding any real challenge. I don't know if that's the correct words I'd use, but to each our own, right? Let's see. Free Smoke says, I doubt Devin actually fights Pyro next. Man, I mean, look, I told you, Free Smoke, and I've said it before on this chat. On his channel, I thought, and I always envisioned Devin Haney coming back, catch weight, working himself up to 147. I thought it made a lot of sense, the idea of him challenging Mario Barrios to that WBC title up there. I was on board with that idea, right? But Devin Haney, clearly has his own plans, and if he feels like he can still unify or become undisputed at 140, or maybe Devin Haney wants to stay in the conversation of fighting a Tank Davis, and if he wants to stay in that conversation, then there's no reason for him to go to 147. He needs to get this 140-pound weight cut down to a science, to where he knows he can be healthy, that he can be effective. He needs to be in a position where he can sit down on his punches. He's going to have to be able to generate some real power to be able to keep Tank Davis honest in front of him, and to fight the other fighters that are on there, the Subriel Matias, the Gary Antoine Russells, right, the Teofimo Lopez's, all those fights that are down there at 140. If he plans on unifying down there and defending a title and becoming undisputed champion down there, then him going up to 147 makes no sense. Liam Paro is a fight that's available. Obviously, it's a unification title fight. something that Matchroom, that Eddie Hearn and those guys can put together very easily for him. It's accessible. I'm sure Turkey Al-Ashik is going to get involved in the conversation as well. That gives him a big payday. So I think it's very realistic to see him fighting a Liam Power when you really look at it from the outside looking. But we'll see. We'll see what time says, man. Right? We will see. Let's see here. Legacy over currency. Define mindset. Blue Blood Sports TV. Yeah, Blue is Blue in the building. Or you just shouting out Blue, even though he's not in the building? Oh, Blue in the building. My God, my brother, Blue. Blue, if you ever feel like coming up, you know I keep the link in the email, man. So it's there for you, brother. If that's what I know, it's your evening, though. But so just letting you know, giving you a heads up that I did do that. I sent it over there. Let's see here. Texas, legacy over currency. Salute. Yeah, JR Spark. I'm not in the business of cheerleading for prospects. Mason needs to fight some real challenges. Aging and unknown Latinos don't count. I hear you, JR. You know, JR, we're not cheer with Mason. Let's speak up front about Mason. Mason's a young guy, 20 years old, right? He's building his career up. Cheerleading him, you might be right. Maybe that's what we're doing. Maybe we're seeing all of the potential that this kid has, and we're just getting more and more excited seeing him be as busy as he's becoming. We kind of understand that they're going to line him up with a lot of big opportunities. Now, we can put Abdullah Mason in the conversation of some great fights. Let's think about it, right? Obviously, you got your Floyd Schofield. You got your Keyshawn Davises. He can get up in some title contention. He can do things at 135. Mason's got a big frame on him. He can go up to 140 and start causing a lot of problems. I think the eye test says that Mason is the goods and at a minimum, a great dancing partner. So we can get excited about that. Why not? Let's be excited about that, JR. Let's give Peace a chance. Let's give Mason a chance to shine. Free Smoke. Devin didn't even weigh 150 in the ring at 135. That's a tall task. Yeah. Free. Yeah, man. But the question isn't, in my opinion, with Devin, it's not about what he used to do as far as what will he do, is what can he do, right? It's going to be interesting to kind of see that develop. Can Devin Haney be in shape, have great condition, have good staying power, have good power that he's able to manifest, absorb punches well, right? Staying, around 150. Staying in that range, staying under a rehydration clause. Can he do that? We'll see. Time is going to tell us, man. Mason's just another prospect. He's a phenom. Let's see him in some real fights, bro. 100% JR Spock. I'm not going to even argue with you on that, JR. I think exactly what you said is exactly what it is, in my opinion. I think he is another prospect, even though he is the best prospect out there right now. I don't think we're going to say there's another prospect with more potential than him right now. He's a phenom, like you said, but I agree with you. Let's see him in some real fights. That's a big fact. 100%. 100%. Let's see here. Andy is an interesting pro. Andy is an interesting pro. All right, Andy. Did I miss it? Andy who? Give me a minute. I'm slow. Devin needs a new mindset and trainer, Derek James. I don't know if it's Derek James, Sonny Augustine, but it's going to be interesting to see that too. I'm very excited to see what Devin is coming to the table with. I'm interested in seeing what adjustments has Devin Haney made in his time off, and whatever adjustments he's made, he feels confident enough to not only come back, but come back and fight in his weight class, fight a very gamed Liam Paro, right? And maybe possibly be putting himself under the rules of a rehydration clause. So he's definitely feeling confident enough with whatever he's been working on, with whatever he's been up to. He's confident enough to show up in this way. No tune-ups. Liam Paro is no tune-up. So let's see. Ray in the back. Ray in the back. Okay. Salute to my brother Ray Davis.
What up? Yeah, I've been here, man. I was here listening. I was here typing in the chat earlier. I'm listening, you know what I mean? You're doing your thing. I'm listening to everything you're saying, which is all facts. There were some questionable things that you said, but they're just questionable. Nothing crazy. I like,
I said I was questionable. What I said I was questionable, Ray?
Some of the Keyshawn stuff. I like what you said that, how the whole Jordan fight was what it was. We talked about it. You know what I mean? This will be his biggest challenge. So this will be his biggest challenge. I think the only thing that's going to hold him back is when the pressure comes this time from
Lemos.
It's going to be a little quicker a little bit more agility, a little bit more
For sure.
athletics involved. It's not going to just be a Frankenstein monster just walk you down trying to just slugfest you. So he's going to
100%.
definitely show us who he is, and this is his time to shine. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And salute to you, Clay. You know what I mean? Salute.
Yeah, salute to you, Ray. Salute to you, Ray. Yeah, well, but I did say that. That's what I was saying. This is going to be his biggest
That's what I
challenge.
said.
I said
Yeah,
this is going to be a sequel to that fight. This is going to be the next chapter of that fight. This is going to be Mark. I said it's going to be Miguel Madueños 2.0. This is going to be Miguel Madueños energy, but way more pedigreed and IQ'd and intelligent aggression
Mhm.
coming from a Limo. So I'm saying who just competed in a super close fight with Richardson Hitchens. Well, Richard
Mhm.
Hitchinson, I always mess his name up. Who's a great boxer in his own right, as you say, the poor man Devin Haney, right? Who was able to manage. Who's
Damn,
able to
I ain't
move
never
around
called
the
him
ring.
poor man. Don't throw
That's
that
what
on
you
me.
said. That's what you
Poor
said.
man Devin Haney,
You know
bro.
what? That was
No,
conversation we had in
I
private. I
said
shouldn't
he's
bring it to the public. So we're gonna leave it
no.
there.
I never said poor man, no, but it's
What'd
cool.
you
I
say?
got you.
What'd you say?
I did say he's like a huh? I said
What
he's like 2 steps behind Devin Haney. He's like a skilled fighter like Devin, but he's like
you gave a name?
literally
You was
like two
throwing
steps.
jokes. You had
But
jokes. You had jokes.
somebody said it, but I ain't say it. But it's cool. I'll
You
live with
said
that.
somebody said it.
Somebody definitely said it wasn't me. You confusing me with somebody else.
You
Maybe
said
it's
that
somebody
shit.
else light skinned. Maybe it was
Yo,
another
no doubt.
light skinned guy on the
Another light
internet, but
skinned
it
dude I be
wasn't me.
talking to on the phone every fucking day. That other
But
dude,
you
the
know
other
what?
dude.
But you know what else? You know what else is cool about this fight? And
What's up?
I don't think you even touched on it.
What's
He
up?
coming down from 140, bro. So if he brings that power with him, you know what I mean, and he
Right.
rehydrates like he was at 140, it'd be a
Mm-hmm.
really difficult fight for Keyshawn. I mean, we have to see how that works, and the whole Devin and Paro thing. That's another thing. You know what I mean? I heard about the rehydration thing. And blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah. You know,
I
that's
think that's in the air. We
politics.
got to see how they're going to deal with that, right? Like we got to see how they're going to deal with that because Teach is saying that that he's recognizing and that the WBC is recognizing Alberto Puello as the actual champion, which I think is true, but I don't know how
Hmm.
exactly they carry that champion and recess thing, right? Like when a champion comes back. How are they carrying it? Is Devin Haney reclaim his spot as a champion, and now Alberto Puello's an interim champion of some sort? Or and even if let's say both of them are champion, right? Let's say they got Alberto Puello as a champion, and let's just say for argument's sake, Devin Haney's some sort of super champion or some sort of champion, what I'm saying, above whatever.
Right.
Bottom line is Devin Haney and Liam Paro able to go down as a title unification fight? And this is what I mean by it. If Liam Paro beats Devin Haney, is Liam Paro also putting himself in the conversation to become a unified champion for him to get a WBC
Nope.
title from beating Devin Haney?
Nope.
So that means it's not a
And
unification fight.
right. So you know what they're trying to do, right? So, and to be honest with you, it all depends on what Mauricio says. Right
Right.
now, he has a mandatory as a champion, which is Sandor
Right.
Martin. He refused to take that fight. He gave up the belt. He is champion recess because he's claiming that he went through something mental, like a lot of people have said, and they've gotten permissions to step down.
Right.
Um, you can't have two champions, obviously, right? So they're not going to make him a super champion. What that means is that when he gets an opportunity to fight the winner of Pueblo's fighting on the card coming up soon, when he fights, whoever the winner of that fight is, he will indeed have an opportunity to fight for his title back and win it on the scale. Oh, Sandor Martin, my bad. That's so stupid of me. Whoever wins out of that fight, he has an opportunity to fight them. The value of Sandor Martin winning the belt goes up for that fight
Mm,
with Devin because now he's the champion and now you have a good fighter coming after the championship.
mm,
Um, so that helps. If he fights, if Puello wins, then he has an opportunity to fight him and he'll get that shot. So either way, he's going to get that fight there. Um, and he'll get an opportunity, win, lose, or draw against Paro. And now if he puts his stakes on the line, I don't know how that works. Again, that's all politics. I think Devin is, and I heard you just talking about this. I think Devin's going to. He's been staying around 156. It looks pretty.
mhm,
It looks like a strong lightweight. I would say super
mhm,
lightweight, maybe. You know
mhm,
what I mean? In gym. So he looks like he's coming in there closer to his weight. So when he gets into the ring, he'll be able to make that weight cut easier. He'll keep his power. He'll keep his strengths. He's trying to, his walk around has changed. and I think I mentioned this multiple times. He's wearing bigger clothes, so he's always staying in a like a sauna type atmosphere. And he's in California, Las Vegas, all these places where it's hot, so he's always wearing something like a sweatsuit or a sweater. So the dude's definitely trying to stay focused on his weight. We're going to see. We're definitely going to see what Devin does bring to that fight. He probably will be able to make that weight. That's why he's actually doing that, because the rehydration is still going to be 140, 150, 150. So he'll be up at 150, and he only has to make the weight, y'all, until the morning at 9 a.m.
Exactly.
of the fight.
Exactly.
So
Just
once he
that
makes that, he
reweigh.
can balloon up as much as he wants, right? So you know what I mean. It's cool. He'll get the opportunity to do it, and whether they convince him to do a unification. Eddie Hearn is a smart guy. There's loopholes in every sport, every
Mm-hmm.
sanction. There's a loophole. If they found a loophole, guess what? They got to
They're gonna
honor
use
it,
it.
right? So hey, let's see how this all works out. Congratulations to Devin on his return. I said it was going to be 140 yesterday. You know what I mean? I think it was me, you, and Frequent talking, but I did say it was going to be 140.
Yeah,
It's a good look.
frequent thought so too, man. Frequent thought so too. But
You did say that.
I was
Right.
shocked. You know what I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't shocked, like what? But what the way I looked at it was it was good and bad, right? Because for me, well, it was nervous and good. Like nervous good because I'm like, oh, here we go again. I hope he has his damn weight cut down to his signs. You know what I'm saying? I hope he's able to manage this weight issue that he's been dealing with. I hope he's able to manage it. That's all I can say, right? And I know Liam Paro is a game. He's probably like the number 2 guy, arguably number 2, because you would say that like Devin Haney and Tiafimo are, like this, with who's on the top of the 140
Hmm.
pound division, right? But right behind them is Liam Paro, who's just
Right.
creeping, who's just hanging out there, who's just like, yo, bro, I'm really him. I'm undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Wait, does he undefeated? I think he is undefeated, if I'm correct. Liam Paro. He is undefeated.
Yep.
So I'm
Undefeated. Yep.
undefeated. I put away the boogeyman of the division, the so-called boogeyman of the division of Sabril Matias. Everybody was saying that this guy was going to give you guys all the worst work. I handled him. You know what I mean? I showed you what I could do with a slick boxer with a Montana Love, that I can cut the ring off and I can make opportunities. You're not just going to make me chase you around the ring. I'm going to cut the ring off and make opportunities in there. And he, in my opinion, outside of Teofimo Lopez, that being said, was going to be the biggest challenge for him in that division. And he's jumping right into it, right after having the performance he had with Ryan Garcia, after having a bad weight cut. And he said he was going to come back in a year, and he's back in what, like 5 months? It's been like 4 months,
Right.
like 4 or 5 months. So you got to think that no matter what people want to think about Devin Haney and his team, that's an intelligent, business-minded team over there. So if they're making a move like this and when they decided he can come back, you would hope that it's because they really thought this out. They've been preparing this whole time, and they really want to show what they've been working on. And I'm excited, right, to see what they've been working on and see what they're going to be bringing to fight against somebody like a Liam Paro.
Right. And guess what I mentioned they're getting in the way of yesterday? I don't think you recall this.
Salute, Mr. Lightning. Hold on. You know what? Let me just give me 1 second.
Do the roll call. Yeah, do the roll call.
Because I ain't gonna lie, I've been seeing people Texas 16 South in the building. Salute my guy. No, I think I said what's up to you. Hey, what's up? I wonder whatever happened to Devin working with Blu-ray Fitness. They committed to working together on Champ side. That's a good link up. That might be there. That's another thing, right? Lead hand. Like, it's going to be interesting to see the adjustments and the changes that Devin Haney did in his training. And let's see how that looks like in the ring, and let's see what he comes to the table with. Let's see when this fight gets put together, the press conferences, because at that point, we're going to be seeing interviews. People are going to be speaking about what happened, obviously, in the Ryan Garcia fight, but more importantly, what's happened since the Ryan Garcia fight. And let's see what adjustments he's made in there. So shout out to you, Let Him India. Great question. Let's see here. Anonymous, salute to Anonymous in the building. Salute to Ron Frazier. I already said salute to you, Ron, but I guess you were saying what's up to Ray. So salute to you again. Big Dre, if you're still in the building. Salute, King. Long time no here, brother. Hope everything is going well with you, man. Somebody got to let me know what JBT means. I see you got hash out. I see this JB thing. Y'all gang banging online? It feel like y'all gang banging. Y'all got to let me know what these. I'm seeing AMC, AMT, JBT.
Just boxing talk, man. Just boxing talk.
Okay, man. I see it all.
Shout them
out,
man. You know what? I seen a lot of members of JBT shouting you out over on Blues channel, including the phenomenal dude, the voice of boxing out there, shouting you out. You know what I mean? You getting some free accolades out there. You know what I mean? You being up there partnering with Blue. So shout out to
All right.
JBT saluting us. Even hardcore boxing shouting us out. Jory keeps showing up, shouting us out. Thomas Hill. You know what I mean? D1, all these guys out there shouting us out left and right, and they appreciate us, man. We out there, they out there, and we connecting, bro. And that's what's up at the end of the day.
No doubt, no doubt, man.
Oh,
Let's see here.
you,
Go ahead.
no. I'm with you though. When you ready to
All right.
talk about boxing, I got something for you.
Okay, no doubt, no doubt. JR Spock, we've been politicking the whole entire evening, and I ain't shout you out. Shout out to my brother JR Spock with that constructive pushback. You know we love it over here, JR. Keep that coming in. Keep on interacting with us and pushing back on our ideas and what I mean, just being here in the building, man, keeping the channel, holding the channel to a high standard, bro. We really appreciate you. Let's see here. Free Smoke in the building. Salute to Free Smoke. Let's see. He said he should have just fought Sandor. Maybe Free Smoke. We whatever we see when in December against Liam Paro, just know all of that wouldn't have come through that way if he didn't carry himself the way he did. So we don't know yet. Maybe you're right. Maybe he lost a step. Maybe he got cold. Then again, you know what I mean? Let's see what happens. He weighed 159 versus Santiago in 2019. I don't know, Ray. Yeah, I feel you, man. He's been dealing with this weight thing. We're going to see let's see what he's been up to, man. Let's see what he's been up to. Shout out to Legacy Over Currency for sure. Salute to you, King. Mr. Lightning for sure. Salute to you. Who else? We got J Cash, the Money Man in the building. Salute to J Cash, the Money Man. AK Crowder always showing love, man. AK Crowder is that, he's been showing so much love from the beginning of this building this channel process. From when I used to be at Blue on the panels over there, he used to show love. So I'm happy that whenever I see him in the building, man, always brings a smile to my face. Shout out to J Pitt City, one of the biggest sponsors of this channel, always contributing financially, contributing with content in the chat, contributing with salutes, and just always showing us that he's here, man. I'm always happy to see him in the building. Let's see here. Mr. Light, great work, Clay. You've been cooking. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. Claymore, I appreciate that. I love you guys, man. Same thing over here, JR Spot. Believe that, man. That's a fact, man. You a super asset over here.
Shout
Super
out to
asset.
JR Spot. That's my brother.
Yeah, super asset, bro. Super asset, man. But what we about to say, Ray?
Oh yeah, no. So as we was talking about Devin, I said, guess what we're getting in the way of? We always talk about people getting in the way, right?
Oh, Nine
So
Fingers
there's
in
a
the
fight
building.
coming up
Salute,
that
Bradley. I ain't see you if you here. Salute. My bad. Go ahead.
yeah, he in there. Yeah, shout out to Bradley too. So he's getting in the way of a fight that's coming up with a guy that's actually going over to England and fight in a few months. Actually, that fight got pushed back. The
Who's in
guy
the
he
way of
just
who?
beat for
Who's
the
in the way?
WBC title.
Who's in the way?
Devin's getting in the way if he beats.
Okay.
If Devin beats Liam Paro, he's back in
Right.
conversation for that rematch with Regis Prograde.
Right.
If Regis wins his fight, which sets up a really good
You come out
opportunity
with
for
Jack?
him to double play his fights, right? So now that means Regis might move because Regis just wants a title. I don't think he wants to fight Devin, so he might move a different direction, which may see him going that WBO route, which you already had a WBA title. So he had a WBA, he had a WBC. He'll move a different direction. Now he'll go into the WBO conversation, especially if Teal decides to move up.
Right.
Now we're talking about another unification. So now we got three options for unification here because this all trickles down to us talking about people getting in the way, how fights are made, how unification is made, and how undisputed becomes. So they're all moving. The chess pieces are moving in the right spaces. So I just wanted to drop that gem out there because I don't think a lot of people were paying attention to that. You know what I mean? A lot of
Right.
these guys about to make these moves and they're about to get in each other's way. And it's gonna be dope.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. A lot of possibilities when you bring the players back into the on the table. When you put the chess pieces back on the table, you got a game. You know what I'm saying? And everybody has to do their job. Obviously, meet their expectations, and a lot of guys go beyond their expectations. But this is the great thing about boxing, man. This is what we love about this sport. Free Smoke said, "Wait, Devin gonna fight Regis? Regis don't deserve no rematch."
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah,
And
Regis.
I'm with you, Free Smoke. But real quick, so let's just say Regis don't even win that fight, right? If Regis don't win that fight coming up with
Jack Catterall.
dude, what's his name again? The dude that's
Jack
Jake
Catterall.
Catterall. If it was Catterall in that position, all I'm saying is Regis wants his revenge on Devin, right? He's been calling it out. Let that man get a shot. He feels that he can go in there and do something different. Let's see if he can. You remember, that's what he want to do. That's what he want to do. If he get that belt and he get that whip, that ass whipped like he did last time, then he need to retire. Hang it up. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
he might even avoid Devin, man. You know what I mean? He might avoid him after that. He might get shaky legs. We don't know. But I'm just telling you, he might get an opportunity to fight for that title. He's gonna move to the WEO. He ain't gonna fight for the IBF. He's just gonna keep his name in that line for that shot, for that belt. He's gonna move over and go for another belt. And they're gonna have to rematch. All them belts gonna come around if Devin go for undisputed or anybody else. You'll see.
Yeah. Let's see how it turns out, man. Everybody's gotta do their job. You know what I'm saying? As long as everybody does their job, then we're gonna get the best fighting the best. Which, as a fan of boxing, we win when that happens, right? We definitely win. They don't want that L from Shakur Stevenson, man. That when you see it, I'll watch it again. But Catterall probably beats Regis. I'm not gonna lie, Free Smoke. I'm leaning towards Jack Catterall to win that fight as well. But we'll see what happens. But I think Jack Catterall. I just think Regis doesn't do well with those boxers. With the boxers, he doesn't seem like he does well. And Jack Catterall is a boxer, you know what I mean? Well, let's see what Regis is able to do.
Catterall moves like the way Regis likes him. Pause. Like he moves, he fights the same way that Regis likes. So he's gonna put his head down, come in like a running back. You know what I mean, to the pocket, where you're gonna have that linebacker meeting him in the middle for the tackle. And I think Regis is gonna be right there to, you know what I mean, to intercept that run. So he's definitely set up. He's set up for Regis style. Regis knows that he has more power probably than Jack Catterall, so he's able to get the knockout, possibly. So it's going to be a good fight. We'll have to wait and see how that goes.
And what does weight have to do with
Listen,
Regis only
I
landing
ain't got
38
nothing to do
punches?
with how many
Yeah,
punches
Free.
he landed. Free Smoke.
Yeah, Free. No doubt, man. Yeah, look, man.
Has nothing to do with that.
Regis has to. He's late in his career, you know what I'm saying? Late 30s, and a lot of people, you know, he's towards the end of his run. It's hard to teach a horse, you know, new tricks. You know what I mean? Or is that how it goes? With the horse or the cat? Whatever it is, I don't remember. That you teach new tricks. Oh, dog, right? Teach a dog new tricks. So this is one or two things for Regis, as far as I'm concerned. You're either going to be committed to who you are and tap into that strength and try to, you know, win that way, or you're going to make all these adjustments and become a boxer all of a sudden, and you know what I mean, be able to do things you've never done before, and then you're going to get. I think that's going to be the end of you. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to get you roasted, is trying to become somebody that you're not. So he's going to have to be confident in what got him to the big show. He's going to put the whole Devin Haney experience behind him, right? He's going to have to put all that behind him and continue to move forward, and remember that his style got him there, that he got a lot of victories. He fought Josh Taylor, who's a boxer puncher, and a lot of people thought he won that fight. You know what I mean? Even though on paper he lost that fight. So his way of approaching boxing is effective. I don't think it's effective against the Devin Haneys and the Shakur Stevenses and the elite of the game, the Teofimo Lopez's. I don't think it's going to be effective with those guys so much. But regardless, probability says that style is going to get you where you need to be. Now, Regis Prograis, in my opinion, got exposed a lot by Devin Haney that night. So a lot of boxers, like a Jack Catterall, for example, who may have approached it a certain way, might see that. His trainers might strategize and see, like, you know what, our best bet is to actually carry that Devin Haney energy, continue that, boxing him, establishing a distance, taking advantage of his poor footwork, taking advantage of his low IQ inside that ring, and let's just get that win where we know the win is at. Let's not try to prove anything in that night. Let's not try to knock him out or show we got dog in us. No, we're in champion contention right now. We're this close to getting shots at belts, and we don't need to prove nothing to a Regis Prograis. We need to get a win out this fight with Regis Prograis and walk away from that winner, so that we're in the conversations for bigger and better things. Those two different kind of fighters, right? Like, you got that fighter who wants to make the statement, who wants to show the world that they've arrived, and they take a lot of chances and they get into a lot of unnecessary melees because they want to show something. But then you got that other fighter who knows that they already pretty much checked the boxes. They've done enough. They've gotten where they need to be. And at this point, it is more important to win this fight above anything else. And that winning mentality, kind of like Shakur Stevenson mentality a little bit, like, I don't care about impressing the crowd. I just care about walking out of here with that win, makes a difference in the way they approach these fights. What does Free Smoke say? Can't teach old dog new tricks, no doubt. Fight Side TV. Salute to Fight Side TV in the building, my guy. Free Smoke said, and this is the difference between Devin and Shakur. Both will make you miss, but Devin will piece you up too. That's what we need to see from Shakur. Shakur has to, listen, guys, I've been thinking about this, and it's like, Shakur is such a talented fighter, man. He really is. He really is a talented fighter. But he has, if there's any issue I see with Shakur, the biggest issue I see is sometimes he moves himself out of range. He moves himself out of range. Like he gets out and he escapes getting hit, but then he gets a little too far out and he can't react. He can't come back. He can't counterpunch. He can't sit on a punch and deliver some power because he's gone like 4 inches too far out to properly come back the right way. And he has to, in my opinion, this is what I'm just noticing from him when I watch him fight, the things that he does. He's going to have to get that range a little bit closer. Yes, it's going to be some risk management in there because that means you also putting yourself in range to get hit, but he has to start trying to put himself in the range to hit back, not just move out in the defensively, not get hit, but also keep himself right inside that range to where he can come back with his own shots and powerful shots, not just points, shots with some power on it. He's able to sit on these punches and make a difference. He did that when he was down at 130 and when he was at 126. He did that a little bit more. I think we're up here at 135. He's become way more defensively minded. He's recognizing the power that's in front of him, especially against like the De Los Santoses of the game. And obviously, I know he'll be like that with Tank. And, even being in the ring right now with a Joe Cordina. Joe Cordina is not I know they want to say he's pillow fisted, but he really isn't. You know what I'm saying? He can deliver some shots. So, but he's going to want to show something different in this fight with Joe Cordina. And he's going to take advantage of this because everybody's already saying that Joe Cordina shouldn't be in the ring with Shakur Stevenson. So it's going to be important that this dude dominate. I think it's important that he dominates this fight. I'm not saying he has to stop Joe Cordina, but he has to really beat some respect into the game with the victim being Joe Cordina receiving those beatdowns. You know what I mean? Free Smoke said, facts, Clay. Regis landed 38 punches. Ain't nobody say that fight was boring. Replace Devin with Shakur, and he might have made it boring. Yeah, Shakur has to check those boxes, man. This is a new chapter in his career. You know what I'm saying? He's getting a lot of flack right now for this Joe Cordina situation. And right now, they put him as the headliner on that card. They removed Better Be Even Bivol, put them on their own. They're going to have them on the ESPN card. They have him as a headliner, which is weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can speak about this tonight and see how this is going to work out because Better Be Even Bivol is still on the card. They're just going to end the Rehab event at the Shakur Stevenson Cordina fight, and they're going to recapture it on the ESPN card for free.
Okay. All right, I can see that. That's just weird. It's just like, it's a little weird.
It's going to be funny to see how this pans out. Right. Like, it's going to be interesting to see them do this. Like, yeah, I mean, we're going to watch it anyway because we cross like that, man. And we're going to catch it. We're going to catch it. We're going to figure it out. That's what we do. But you are making us jump through a little bit of hoops. And that's kind of weird of you to do that. But whatever.
And it was weird even last time. I don't know if anybody else ran into the problems that me and Clay did because we was watching the Billy fight. We couldn't even watch the fight. It started kicking us out the fights. And I mean, right? It was kicking us out. Because you were
we had to go all the route
I was on
the fight.
Right. It was telling me that it wasn't working. I got to subscribe. I'm like, I'm already a subscriber. What is going on here?
Right. Is another level of subscription that I got to hit? I'm not keeping y'all another penny.
Yeah. Are they going to repeat that same action with this fight? Like,
I hope not.
What's going to happen? Yeah, I hope not either because this is going to, this is not going to be a good look for them if it happens. So,
I think they're making the event messy. I think that they're potentially going to lose out on some pay-per-view buys by removing Better. Not potentially. I guarantee you they're going to lose pay-per-view buys, removing Better Be Even Bivol from that card. With you giving a lot of people who are already pushing back on the whole idea that Shakur Stevenson is fighting a Cordina, a way to get out of paying for that pay-per-view and catching the fight that they really want to catch, which is Better Be Even Bivol. You risk, this is a real messy situation. Let's see how they iron it out. The fight isn't, when is it, October 12th? So maybe they're able to come to some understanding that makes a little bit more sense. But right now it's a weird look. It's definitely a weird look. I don't see how that benefits Riyadh at all. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Free Smoke said, my question is if I buy the pay-per-view, do I get the Bivol and Better Beef fight too, or do I still need to switch to ESPN Plus? That's what we're talking about. You see, Free Smoke? That's exactly what we're talking about right there. If you pay for that card and you don't have an ESPN membership, what are you paying for? Because if you can't catch a Better Beef Bivol fight, and I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. You know what I mean? I've been defending Shakur Stevenson with this whole ducking situation, and everything. But brother, you're not worth $80 to me. I'm not paying $80 to watch you fight, bro. Exclusively, I'll pay for Better Beef Bivol and catch him.
You said you gotta keep third time, Clay.
Yeah, I'm not doing it, brother. Listen, man, salute to you and everything that you're doing. I don't think you a duck. I think you are a great fighter, but I'm not paying $80-$90, bro, to see you fight, bro. That ain't happening, dog. That's not happening.
I think we might be getting this. I think actually I've just thought about something, Clay. Maybe we're going to get the same energy we got for that last fight with the Riyadh card. Remember they had like Amazon was putting it on because they had some of their fighters from the PBC on there.
Right.
They put on the fights also.
Right.
So maybe we're going to get that same dual action. That's possible. Because maybe him working with the promoters
allow it as well as the pay-per-view.
Right.
Okay.
So if you don't, but you can buy it. If you don't have ESPN Plus and you don't buy it, you know what I mean, through ESPN Plus, then you don't see the fight. You know what I mean, so they might have it, so you're buying it either way. You might be able to continuation on Matchroom or DAZN, or continue it on ESPN Plus. If you want to take that fight, and you'll probably get all the whole main card on ESPN. But I don't think they want to deal with Shakur. They probably just don't want that Shakur fight on there because he left ESPN. So they're probably going to just. That's why I think they're waiting. You know what I mean?
And so Better Beef, but like Better Beef is a top ranked fighter. Bivol is a Queensberry fighter, right? Or a Matchroom fighter. Which one? He's
Matchroom.
He's a Matchroom fighter.
He's Matchroom.
So for all argument's sake, Riyadh Season does have a right to show that on that pay-per-view card. They can't. Top Rank doesn't own. They just, if anything, I agree with you. They're just going to try to share the fight. They're not going to try to take the fight. They can't just take the fight. Eddie Hearn has his rights to the fight as well. Matchroom has their rights to showcase a fight as well.
Right. I think somebody just read that wrong. And it just makes sense to me because I've seen an Amazon card. I remember Amazon had it posted as well when that last Riyadh fight happened with Bud. You know what I mean? I remember that also was on like you can purchase on Amazon for that fight, that whole card. So
Right.
It doesn't matter, right? Money as long as it comes back.
You know, not to change the subject so much, but I definitely am about to. But I don't want to change it so much. But you know what I realized and I learned in the past 2 weeks, and it's gonna sound crazy because it's gonna be like you didn't know that, but I'm just keeping 100 with you. It's not that I just learned it, but it's something that I just acknowledge and understand what's going on in this space. You know, these are fanatic. These channels are very fanatic, right? Like they're very like supporting their fighters and by any means necessary, right?
Right.
And what ends up happening is the facts start to the facts start to move around in a way to when we're not dealing with facts anymore, because the information that's needed in order to come to these final decisions and ideas that everybody's coming up with require information that they don't have access to. So there's a big la-la land. There's a la-la land algorithm frequency level where people can paint pictures, and as long as they can add a lot of energy to the conversation and they can, put a lot of lights, camera, action to it, it becomes true.
Right. It becomes true. Shout out to Boxing Hacker, by the way.
Oh shit, yeah, salute. Boxing Hacker. Much love, brother. Thank you. Thank you for the love to the channel, man. Putting some color in the chat tonight. Let's see. To me, Kur's style is more efficient. Stepping out of range takes less energy than most defense. I think he was really only out of range for De Los Santos. He normally has good distance control. Yeah, he does. But my question is he doing that? And by the way, thank you. I appreciate that, man. Is he doing that with the punchers? Right? Because now he's stepping into a level where he's dealing with the punchers. The punchers are going to be, Zepeda is going to be a puncher, brother. And if you saw the way Zepeda dealt with Giovanni Cabrera, right, who was somebody who moved great, really made Isak Cruz, really gave Isak really gave the code, the secret to beating Isak Cruz, right? didn't win the fight, but won the fight in a way to the point where he got to get into a mandatory spot to fight for a mandatory spot with Zepeda, right? Like he immediately went from that loss into another. He went up though, still from that fight. With the loss, he still went up in competition. Zepeda made him easy work. But now let's be real now. Giovanni did fight the wrong fight. He did try to sit up in there and get busy with Zepeda and try to get in the melee and got caught up in that. He wasn't really moving around like he did with Isak. But regardless, he was moving around. And Zepeda was able to cut that ring off and make those opportunities happen. So when Shakur gets in there with Zepeda, he's going to have to deal with that, right? How is he going to deal with that power? Is he going to maintain that range like you're saying he can do? Because I think he can do it. Because why is he moving around? Is it because his power isn't translating? Is it because he hasn't found the power yet to make somebody like sit still? Right? It's going to be interesting to see him jump into this next chapter in his career, because for him to get to the greatness that he wants, he's going to be dealing with some punches, bro. It's coming. The punches are here. Right. Zepeda's just one of them. And obviously, Tank Davis is another one. Right. And you got other ones in the division as well who are on their punch game. And he's going to have to score, but also give honest power. It doesn't have to be the most power, but it has to be honest power that keeps these fighters from just running through him, like a Zepeda. Because if you don't get Zepeda, that respect from Zepeda, he can cut that ring off. You're not just going to run away from him for 12 rounds. I don't believe it from what I've seen.
Right. And what I've seen with Shakur, he does have enough power to keep people back. He does throw a hard jab because he leads with his right hand, which is his power hand, which is cool. But what I've also noticed, and I'm glad you touched on this, is Shakur has never been really chin tested or body tested. He doesn't allow people to get into that range where they're allowed to land effective punches on him. What's going to happen when he does get effective punches on him? You know what I mean? I had to call this the last time when we was talking about Devin. I mentioned the same thing, and I said I want to see that adversity in this situation. I mean, we did see it, right? So he got back up, he kept fighting regardless of the situation. He went 12 rounds. Every other person that met that fate with Ryan stayed down, never got up. So we have to give that respect there, because the man fought like a warrior. Does Shakur do the same thing? Is Shakur capable of doing the same thing? Is Shakur able to absorb these shots and fight off and fight from doing that, or does he stay back? Because when we seen him get attacked in the De Los Santos fight, broken hand, broken fingers, whatever, shoulder, whatever it was or not, he got hit with a body shot, and from that body shot, the distance became greater. So at the end of the day, we have to understand where Shakur lies as a fighter. Or is he lying within the range of greatness and slick and able to accept the like I said, the jabs and to the face and or shots, falls, like the hard rights, hooks, and all that to the face and body, or is he just going to sit there and try to avoid everything because he doesn't want those type of attacks coming on him, and he just wants to be defensively sound and try not to take as much damage, because not taking damage can also be costly. You got to get hit every once in a while, or it's going to cost you.
Yes, let's talk. So that's what it comes down to. And Shakur has to show that ability. And I agree with you 100% that he has to show the ability to be able to absorb some punishment a little bit and still be effective, because he's going to have to weigh that out, go back and forth with that, take a little bit of punishment, brace, do what you got to do. But you got to start establishing, you got to stop giving up position just to not get hit. You got to, like when Tank fought against Frank Martin, in order for him to get the position, he took shots. He took risk in there, and he had to move out the way, and he got caught sometimes. And even when he blocked, his own glove was punching him in the face from shots that was coming at him, right? But he stayed there because he was sitting there waiting for the opportunity to react. And he knew I can't give up the position. Shakur has to get into that conversation. It's going to be interesting seeing him develop that and seeing how that comes to fruition and ring, what that manifests into, what that looks like, right? So shout out to those guys. Let's see what they do. Let me shout out to a couple people who just showed up in here. Shout out to Right Hand Down Brooklyn, right-handed downtown Brooklyn. Right-handed. He came in here right for it. He wanted to get right to it. You know what I'm saying? But before we get right to it with that one, shout out to 2 Cents, because and I agree with you, man. Like, De Los Santos really got finessed that night, 2 Cents. But he said Zepeda way slower and less athletic than De Los Santos. I'm gonna say like this: yes, I agree, but at the same time, De Los Santos's issue was more mental than anything. Shakur got in his head and messed him up, and he didn't really apply the pressure the way he could have. There were points in time when he had opportunity to jump on Shakur and do something, but he kept being worked. He was extra worried about that left hand coming back at him, not realizing that hand was hurt, and that's why Shakur wasn't throwing it. So he was like, "Oh, you're just trying to set me up for that left hand." Zepeda's not coming with that energy, and Zepeda might not be as fast as De Los Santos, but he's very efficient at cutting the ring off. He understands that, and he's also what he did with Giovanni Cabrera, which is something that Ray, you talked about a little bit earlier, was he knows how to work that body well. He understands how to deal with a boxer who wants to move around a lot and do all that. He understands the value of investing in that body work, and he hits hard, obviously, right? Panda, his coach, let's bring that element into the conversation. That Panda is very observant of, Panda celebrates Shakur Stevenson a lot, right? But what comes with that celebration? What comes with that celebration is respect. What comes with that respect? Real strategy, real research. And the reason he has a respect for Shakur Stevenson the way he does is because he knows Shakur Stevenson. He knows Shakur Stevenson very well, which means his game plan is going to be based off of what he understands and what he's been watching Shakur Stevenson do for a large part of his career. Like, he's been watching Shakur Stevenson ever since the amateur. He talks about it in depth, right? So now Zepeda has that on his side. He has a coach who understands that this is going to be a very difficult fight, but also probably understands the best way to approach Shakur Stevenson is going to want to test Shakur Stevenson in a way that Shakur hasn't been tested back in the day. And where hasn't he been tested? That body. He hasn't been tested to the body like that, except for with Oscar Valdez, right, at 130, who hurt him to the body. Shakur admitted that, right? And he also got hit to the body a little bit in the Artem fight that I saw in the Hartunian fight. He got hit to the body a couple times there, but mostly he hasn't really been tested like that. Watch for William Zepeda to cut the ring off, work that body, try to keep this fight a mid-range fight, and try to break Shakur down and take away that movement. Because if he's able to be effective to the body, then that Shakur movement, getting in range, staying out of range, getting out of trouble, that starts to become more difficult, more of an uphill battle for Shakur Stevenson. That changes the whole entire trajectory of the fight, potentially, if William Zepeda could be effective that way, right? What do you think, Ray? Am I far off?
I agree with you. No, because what I see here is exactly what Shaquille O'Neal gave Kobe Bryant a message with one time, said, let that, he a Ferrari, but what happens when a Ferrari meets a Mack truck? You know what I mean? Damage. So now you have Zepeda. Yeah, his speed will come. It'll come as he slows you down. You know what I mean? Remember, he's a quality fighter, and a quality fighter means that he makes everything count. He's taking the risk. He's coming in a high guard. He's staying focused. He has good footwork too, by the way, and his defense is pretty sound. He's very high volume, and he makes his shots count. He doesn't land like empty punches. He's literally on the money. He's very accurate. Again, a quality fighter. A fighter like that is going to cause damage to somebody like Shakur if Shakur is not able to evade and stay away from that type of fighter. Shakur is definitely going to have to set the tone, use his range, and use the weight to come around that high guard and hit him right by the ear or on the temple, knocking him off balance, get that equilibrium off. If he does not do that, it's going to be a long night, and we could possibly see a new WBC champion or whatever belt he holds at that time. So just stay focused and remember today, April 27th, 1049 of 2024, and you will say, Ray, that's crazy. But other than that, we just have to see how the fight plays out. I'm not giving Zepeda to win just yet. I'm just saying that that's a possibility how he can roll to victory through that. But hey, we'll see how it goes, Clay. I mean, like I said, quality and quantity too, right? Because he throws a lot of shots. So quality and quantity from Zepeda to Shakur's elusive track star defense. Well, that's what anybody else says. I just threw it in there.
No doubt, no doubt. And Shakur's been preaching for a long time that he's been working on this power. He's been working on this pop. He's been working on becoming a more aggressive fighter. He hasn't had the opportunity to show it, supposedly, from his point of view, based on the matchmaking, based on just the mishaps. As far as the closest we've been able to see that was probably like what it was, Jamel Herring and against Yoshino.
Yeah,
right.
Yoshino was dominant. Herring was dominant. Even Oscar Valdez, as the fight went on, he set Oscar Valdez up. Oscar Valdez got to the point where he got extra anxious. He got hungry. He wanted to get his payback because I think Shakur had an early knockdown. And once he wanted to get that payback, his whole focus, and we've seen this happen with a lot of boxers in recent times, but once he wanted to get that payback, it was just over for him. Shakur had him right where he wanted him. The frustration happened. It built up. Shakur can do the same thing to Zepeda, on the other hand, and he can use his pop and those things to offset Zepeda, cause frustration, and turn that whole fight into a different fight. Either way, it's going to happen. Shout out to freaking Flyer jumping in the building, aka Flyer Frequency. He comes in at different times. It's like an alter ego. So whichever one he comes in, we just say what's up to him.
No doubt, man. Let's see here. Right hand, it says salute Clay and Race. You think Shakur duck and tank, or he got planned to get more money for the fight? Man, we've been talking about this all day. You know what I mean? I've been talking about this all day with Blue, and I'll just say like this. We'll see how it looks at the end of the day when it comes to fruition, when Tank and him finally meet up. We'll see if all this work was in vain or if it made sense. But I'm going to stand by the idea that Shakur Stevenson is supposed to plan everything he does around a Tank Davis fight. I feel like is ridiculous. I don't think it's needed. I think Tank Davis is an A-side face of boxing fighter, and I think he's able to make the fights he wants to make no matter where Shakur is at. I think people give Tank Davis face of boxing accolades. They give him A-side accolades, but then they put a ceiling over his head and say things like him being over at Eddie Hearn is going to be an obstacle and it's going to be the reason why the fight isn't made. I think people aren't understanding what face of boxing energy brings to the table. The big deal he got with Amazon. Canelo Alvarez does not hear any of that. Then that's a face of boxing. When Canelo Alvarez wants to make a fight, he don't care where you are, where you at. He coordinates a fight. He calls a shot. He's a face of boxing. Tank Davis is also the face of boxing. And I think his fans are having a hard time really embracing the privilege that Tank Davis has, really embracing what his power is. I saw somebody post a video today, obviously responding to something that we were talking on the show, that we're putting the responsibility on Tank Davis to get Shakur out of contracts and things of that nature. Reach, brother. Very, very reaching a lot, making up. And that's what I was saying earlier about the algorithm, that people, as long as they can put passion behind what they're saying, as long as they can put their belief in it, people believe it's true, right? Because nobody's saying that Tank Davis has any responsibility for Shakur Stevenson at this point, right? What we're saying is if Tank Davis wants to make the fight before Shakur is done with his two-fight deal, right? If he wants it done before that, he can do it. It can happen because Shakur has a relationship with Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn has a relationship with fighters like on Shakur's level where he understands, and he's shown in the past how flexible he can be in order to give that fighter an opportunity to get in the biggest fights of their life. He's shown that ability to do that. So him doing a two-fight deal with Eddie Hearn is not a legitimate reason, in my opinion, as to why Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson won't fight. He'll fight Cordina. He beats Cordina. He'll fight Zepeda. He beats Zepeda. His contract will be up. And at that point, Tank and him are, Shakur's a free agent again. He can go ahead and move over to the PBC real quick just to make the fight real quick, do a 1-2 fight deal over there. Or Tank can still negotiate Eddie Hearn if they open the line of communication and allow Eddie Hearn to do his job as Shakur Stevenson's representation. Eddie Hearn can coordinate the fight. And Eddie Hearn has said in an interview that that's what he's going to try to do, actually, is that after that fight is done with Zepeda, he's going to try to build that bridge and make that fight happen with Tank. But he said, if I can't make it happen, I understand. I can't make it happen, then I'll have to get out the way because I'm not going to get in the way of greatness. People don't want to hear that. I get it. They want to make it more than it needs to be. They want a story. It's just, I would say grow up. But I don't want to, help nobody like that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, those conversations kind of get beneath me at times because the story behind it, all the hype behind, he made this move over to Eddie Hearn, and that was the worst thing he could have ever done. He's ducking. I don't know, bro. I think people get caught up, and I think Turkey. I think Turkey is bringing that to the forefront now, right? Where Turkey's showing you that PBC is working with Turkey.
Right.
Al Heyman's having conversations with Turkey. He's working with Bob Arum. He's working with Golden Boy. He's destroying all those old business model and that across the street energy, that across the street energy narrative that was getting pushed out there. These fights are going to get made regardless, bro, because that's what the people want to see, and more importantly, both fighters want to fight. Tank Davis is very aware of the power he has, bro. He knows what he can't do. Just the same way Errol had to come to an understanding and realize, like, I don't care about none of that shit, bro. I want to fight with Terrence Crawford. So stop all this shit that y'all doing, and I need you to pay that man what he needs to get paid, and I need us to come together and make this fight happen because I want to become undisputed, bro. And everybody got in line. And that's what's going to happen with Tank Davis and Shakur when that fight finally comes into conversation, into negotiation to be made.
Right, 100%. I can, bravo. And just one more piece of the puzzle. First of all, what I want to say is a lot. I want to take up people that are sitting there saying that things are going to happen. Is everyone has an opinion. We respect your opinion and your thoughts. You know what I mean? Whether you're talking about your favorite fighter, favorite promotional company, or whatever the case may be, I respect that. You know what I mean? But just don't throw shade my way or say that you cooked somebody or you they didn't want to smoke because you have your own shot, your own thing you're talking about. Bro, let's keep it real. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to get off topic here. I'm just saying generally, like, because we heard both sides, because we're responding to the question that right hand said, and I'm with that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we have to understand just because you support Tank or you know what I mean or PBC, that doesn't mean that we're gonna think that Shakur is going to lay down or walk away, or he shouldn't make the fight. We never said that he shouldn't make the fight. We just said that it's going to take time to make the fight. You gave Tank time to do stuff. Give this man some time. It happens. I heard the other day, and this is just a short story, and I'm going to get back to his question. Somebody asked, does Tank have, does it matter who Tank's fights in his next fight? He goes, why? He said, because Tank can fight whoever he wants. I said, oh, that's crazy. So Tank can fight whoever he wants, but nobody else in boxing can? That sounds crazy to me because you're holding this guy to a standard. You even hold Canelo, who's a champion and has more accolades, more claims more status in the game than Tank Davis, and y'all call him out for not fighting Benavidez. So at the end of the day, I get that. Now to the point of the last question is, I don't think Shakur is ducking, and I don't know if it's a money grab move. Either way, it would have been a money grab at the end of the day because Shakur said that when he was going to 135, he actually said, Devin got the gold, Tank's got the bag. You know what I mean? He said, I love money, but I love gold too. So with that being said, says that, listen, he wants to have titles, but he also will lay it down, the title, to go get some cash. So we already know that. He's only human, you know what I mean? We can't knock him for that. And if Eddie's going to pay him to fight somebody that's going to be a replacement last minute, and it's a decent fight, because we didn't even see the fight yet. We're already giving this guy the win. We're already giving this guy shooting Cardina in a hole. Like, oh, he ain't gonna win. He ain't got a chance. Blah 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 blah. And it's crazy. We don't know that. This dude might knock Shakur out, bro. We don't know what's going to happen in that fight. They were at the same division not a little over a year ago. Now we're saying the guy too small. Like, this is what I'm saying. Too many people need to learn how to tie their shoes and learn how to zip up their coat because it's getting cold outside. And a lot of times I'm hearing a lot. Matter of fact, I should have said they need to learn to tie their boots and zip up their coats and stuff because there's a lot of bullshit outside. That's what I really wanted to say. And they're stepping in it. Yo, listen, at the end of the day, however it happens, it happens. I think Shakur and Tank is destined to fight. He's on the list. He's on Tank's list. That's another thing. So they're going to fight. It's just a matter of when. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, Clay. So when we see it happen, it happens.
Yeah, Free Smoke says, I got a question for y'all. If Shakur flops bad on pay-per-view, does it decrease his negotiation power for a Tank fight? I'll tell you, it doesn't help his negotiation power with a Tank fight. I don't think this fight right here with Cordina, I think it's an interesting situation that Shakur is in right now, that he's on a co-main event to a card that he's been pushed up into a main event situation into. I don't know whatever these pay-per-view numbers are going to be, if that's going to factor so much against him, being that this is also going to be his first pay-per-view card, and he's going outside of his demographic, not fighting a fighter that's popular over here in America. He hasn't had an opportunity to show his value as a dance partner on a pay-per-view card, what he brings to the table, right? Regardless how anybody wants to look at it, Tank Davis has said that he wants to fight Shakur Stevenson. He put him on the list. Most of the boxing space, from my experience, has said that Shakur Stevenson is the biggest challenge to Tank Davis's to Tank Davis. They feel like a lot of people. I spoke to somebody earlier today, matter of fact, was very close to the Tank Davis camp, close to the camp, not a fan. Somebody who's actually close to Tank in the camp over there, who said, listen, man, the consensus is clear. Everybody believes that nobody can beat Shakur Stevenson for real except for Tank. And obviously the consensus over Shakur Stevenson's side is the same way, that nobody can beat Tank except for Shakur. Fans can feel however they want to feel about it, but Tank has put a lot of value, and this fight is a very important fight for him. He really wants to fight Shakur Stevenson and prove that point to himself and maybe to some of his fans. I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest with you. I don't think Tank Davis really. Anyway, I don't want to knock the fans, man. Y'all keep being a fan of y'all, but I don't think he really F with y'all the way y'all. I don't think so. Anyway, but that being said, right? That being said, it's a fight he really wants, and when beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and the most important person in the conversation with Shakur Stevenson is Tank Davis. Everybody else, their opinions could be what it is. So if his pay-per-view numbers are low, with a Joe Cordina as a fighter across the ring from him, is that going to be looked upon like he doesn't sell? Or is it going to be looked upon as he didn't have a dance partner? This was a last-minute replacement. He really didn't put anything together. I think a low pay-per-view number with him and William Zepeda might speak a little bit ill of him, maybe a little bit. But I don't think this Joe Cordina fight is set up for that type of situation. People are judging anyway, and all the content creation spaces the next day will shit on Shakur and say, "See what he did? We told y'all. See what his pay-per-view numbers did? We told y'all." They'll carry the narrative. But that's not what the fight is for.
They'll have the numbers the next second, bro. As soon as the fight's over, they got the pay-per-view numbers. And they're like, yo, Michael Benson said he only did 20 sales in pay-per-view, and I'm rocking with it because Michael Benson said it.
Yeah. No, RC, Better Be Even Bivol didn't get called off. They just, now it seems as if, well, me and Ray were talking about it, now there's some perspective to it, but what they've done is they've made that fight available on ESPN Plus, because Bob Arum and Better Biev's relationship, right? That Better Biev is a top-ranked fighter. Bob Arum doesn't have any access to any of the viewage or the pay-per-view points with Better Biev, because that's a Rehad season situation, right? So he was like, nah, that doesn't work for me. He wants the fight to be available on the ESPN Plus. So in essence, in many ways, it sounds like they're pushing Shakur Stevenson up as a main event, and then at Better Be Even Bivol aren't really. I don't know. It's weird, because are they still the main event of this card?
Unless they have him fight an earlier fight or something of that line, I don't see how it cannot be. I think the Shakur fight comes on probably around, because it's going to be overseas. We'll probably get it around 7:30ish, 8 o'clock. Maybe start time, and I think they moved the Better Be card to a later spot, making it a late night from them in Saudi.
No doubt.
And that changes the perspective, because I can't see them giving us that fight at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when it's going to be on ESPN, and you're probably going to have some type of racing or football on at the same time, and they're not going to try to use it. Yeah, they're not going to try to use those numbers and take football off to put Better Be Even Bivol on. It's a lot of things that are moving around there that we just can't really factor in and put a pin on it. You know what I mean? Pin on the map and be like, yo, this is what's happening. So we'll catch it, bro. We'll get up with it. What's up, Toya? Salute. So we'll get up with it and we'll figure it out for you. I mean, at the end of the day, they'll tell us how, you know what I mean? When it happens, it happens. We'll see when it happens.
Yeah, for sure. Salute while you mad, Toya. Free Smoke says, but I think the unknown of what his potential pay-per-view numbers could be is maybe better for him at the negotiating table than a flop, like what if Ryan had a pay-per-view flop before the time. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, him never doing a pay-per-view means that we never know what his value is. That might hold a little bit more weight at the table than actual having data to reference, right? And be like, no, this is what you did. You had a pay-per-view, and here are the numbers you did. You don't sell. Yeah, the business side of the negotiating part, when they come to the table and they decide how to divvy up the money and how much Shakur's worth, I think it's fair to say it'll come up. You know what I mean? For sure. Let's see here. Why are you mad? Nobody's talking about what Eddie said on All the Smoke about Devin around. We could talk about it. We definitely could talk about it as well. Rollo Green, salute to Rollo Green in the building. Ain't seen you in a while, brother. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. This is Tank's third A-level fighter. That the timing isn't right to fight. Loma, Devin, Shakur. I'm starting to see a pattern, and the pattern is starting to smell like BS. Yeah, I hear you. Okay. RC, salute, King. How you, man? Okay, good. I've been waiting on the LHW Battle of the Year. Appreciate the info. What's LHW? Light heavyweight? Light heavyweight. Okay, light heavyweight Battle of the Year. Okay. Yeah, no doubt, RC. No doubt. Yeah, man. Rollo, back to what you said about the timing isn't right. This game of boxing is a war of attrition, right? It's like chess. It's like every move counts, especially with Tank Davis. The way he speaks during the press conferences, the mind games he plays, the setup, everything counts with Tank. Tank is right. Things like that. He reads everything and he takes advantage of everything, right? He takes advantage of everything. So in this case scenario with Shakur Stevenson, and I believe most of the time with most of these fights, even with Loma, because Loma really ducked Tank on this one, right? But I digress. Yeah. With Devin Haney, it's always been about the buildup, about the money, right? Like these fights have to happen one way or another, but it seems like with the fights that are going to be boring or the fights that, aren't going to be, as exciting to some people, that they put even more effort into the build-up, into the press conference, into the promotion of the fight, right? And Shakur Stevenson is just not the kind of fight, in my opinion, that Tank Davis wants to just take as a replacement to another fight. He wants that fight to get the proper attention. He wants it to be as much money as possible because Tank is a prize fighter to his core. He's all about getting the biggest amount of money he could possibly get out of every single situation he's involved with. So it doesn't blow me away that he wouldn't set up the Shakur Stevenson fight right now, that he would make promoting the fight and having the rollout look a certain way before he took advantage of a fight like this. He wants the fight to come out the right way. And the people who are behind him, who are advising him, the Al Haymans, the Leonard Ellabys, right, the Tom Browns, the pedigree he came from, the Floyd Mayweather, they're all going to say the same thing. Get the money you're supposed to get out of this, right? And it's not about robbing Shakur Stevenson. It's about promoting the fight the right way. It's about the rollout being the right way so that this fight gets the right amount of attention so the pay-per-view number represents what it's supposed to represent and so the building is packed out. So Tank is not going to move until all those boxes are checked, right? He's not going to make that fight happen no matter what. He's going to say, no, that fight's going to happen no matter what. So I don't got to make it happen no matter what. I need to make sure when it happens the right way, that it looks right and that it brings back all the money it could potentially bring in. And I think as fans, we have to get used to understand that when working with Tank Davis, these things are very important to him. And being that he's the A side, he's the face of boxing, it's going to move that way. So we shouldn't anticipate a Shakur Stevenson fight to be made as a replacement fight. He's not an Isak Cruz, right? Isak Cruz is a replacement fight. Oh, Rolly can't fight, bring in an Isak Cruz. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Zepeda can't fight, bring in a Cordina. Shakur Stevenson is not one of those guys. Shakur Stevenson's a guy where it's probably going to be about a solid 4 to 6 months damn near of build-up going on. And that first press conference is going to be about 4 months from the fight. They're probably going to tour New York, Atlantic City, you know what I'm saying, Virginia, Las Vegas, Baltimore. They're probably going to do all these different spaces, and they're going to try to bust. He's going to try to make this fight Ryan Garcia number. He's going to try to contend with the Ryan Garcia fight. That's what I believe, right? That's how I look at it. So yeah, it might seem like BS, but really what it is business. And as boxing fans, business just gets in our way. Right? Let's be real. Right. Business always gets in our damn way. Like we just always want to see the fight, and here come business showing his face. Like, oh God, bro, we got to wait for the business to happen.
I think they need to find a new way to measure the star attraction to the fighters too, because I think with streaming going on too, Clay, it kind of hurts the fact that these guys are not getting their pay-per-view numbers. I know it was reported that Tank did a certain amount of numbers, but us digging into deeper territory, we found out that those numbers were a little exaggerated. I'm not going to go down that road because I don't want to get into any arguments or disagreements with anybody. It is what it is. But here's where it comes down to, like you
Salute
said,
Rick Kins.
is it? And Nick J, salute too.
Salute Nick J.
Um, are we going to get the fight based on the numbers? Are we going to get the fight based on fan support? You know what I mean? Us supporting the fight, them wanting to make the fans happy, and we're getting this fight because he's on Tank's list. Because if it's for the numbers, then why is he on the list? So then Tank should be fighting everybody for money, and who he needs money from. He
Salute
shouldn't need to
Adam
fight.
Hurley.
He shouldn't need to fight Shakur. He shouldn't need to fight Devin. He shouldn't need to fight any of these other people. He should just be out there like, yo, I'm going out here to fight because y'all got the money. You know what I mean? I want to go fight this guy who got the money. I want to go fight this guy who got the money and going to bring money. Williams Zepeda would be a bigger fight than Shakur in that case because he's bringing the country with him. Loma's bringing the country with him. Bernchek is bringing the country with him. So why would I go fight these other people that aren't bringing countries with them? And why am I going to waste my time with these guys and put them on my list? The reason why they're on the list is because he wants to fight them, money or not. He wants
Right.
these guys in the ring, and he wants to make this happen. A lot of us are sitting there taking this and making it about money, business sides, and things of that nature. It's not totally about that. Yes, they want to get paid for the fight. Yes, they want to do good numbers. Yes, they want it to be record breaking or even groundbreaking, for instance. It doesn't have to be record breaking. They just want a great fight and they want it to do the right numbers. This is today's Sugar Ray versus Hearns. You know what I mean? Maybe even Hagler. I'll say Sugar Ray Hagler in this case because I think both of them guys are different or are more established to that. And I think this is what we get out of that welterweight division. I'm sorry, excuse me,
Lightweight.
back up. This is what we get out of that lightweight division, and this is what's going to bring power to that division. It's going to bring excitement to that division, and one of them guys are going to move up, whether it be the champion, whether maybe the other guy goes for undisputed. Maybe be the loser. Whatever the case may be, we're going to see a balance change. And just because one of them get a loss doesn't mean that it's going to not. It's only going to increase the value of that fighter as well. So at the end, we'll see. Like I said, I'm starting to stutter over my words, but we'll see exactly how this is going to go down. And I promise you, if it was about the money, bro, they would have been had Shakur out here fighting big fights and this and that. No, they just want this guy because he wants to fight him because he said he wants to punch him in the face. End of story. That's it. He's on the list. That's what I'm calling it. On the list. And that's out of Tank's mouth, not the fans' mouth, not the casual committee, not none of those guys. This is out of Tank's mouth, not his team. Out of Tank's mouth. He's on the list.
Yeah. Shout out to Why You Mad at Toya. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Tank is, when it comes to the business of boxing right now and the business of making the most money possible in boxing, Tank Davis is a credible source of information and probably the guy who brings the leverage to the table as far as understanding how to make a big fight, sell a big fight, and then reap the rewards of the big fight, right? And so I would think that Shakur Stevenson would follow suit. And I think that's what you're seeing as far as the humility of Shakur Stevenson that people are looking at, as they're looking at the humility and the respect that Shakur is showing to Tank by not calling Tank out and saying all those things. They're looking at that as a sign of Shakur Stevenson not wanting to fight Tank or not being as motivated to fight Tank. But I think there's a part of Shakur Stevenson that we have to acknowledge that he also has a lot of aspirations on being a big time prize fighter. He wants to make as much money as he can as well, right? That's why he's that's why he's building a relationship with a Turkey Al-Sheikh and even fighting a Cordina on a fight like this is probably because, prize fighting wise, this checks the boxes for him. Hashtag chasing the bag, right? I think that's something that he put out there. So it's not far-fetched that a conversation with him and Tank goes in or him and Tank's team goes in a way of, trust me, we're going to get everybody paid. Just be patient. Let us build this the way we want to. Let us roll this out the way we've done many a times already that you've seen us do, and everybody's going to come up. And I can see Shakur Stevenson bowing down to that and be like, all right, no, that's what's up, bro. Or you know what? All right, that's what's up. Yeah, just go out there, get to the bag, Do your thing. Turkey's offering you some money. Go get that money with Turkey. You can put a fight together with Zepeda. Go ahead and do that. We're going to let you know. And we're going to let you know when we're ready. We got a way we're going to do this. Al Heyman's getting ready to come back, right? Al's coming out. It turns out he had some kind of family emergency that held him out of the spotlight for a certain amount of time. He's back, and we're going to roll this out in a way to where we're all going to come up. So now just chill. And that's the humility you're seeing in Shakur Stevenson. The acknowledgement of this is not where I've been successful at. I'm a successful boxer. I'm a pound for pound boxer. I think I'm better than you, and I'm going to beat you. But this business side of the game, this money side of the game that I'm supposed to be coming up on, I got a wife, I got a kid. I'm trying to plan a wedding. I can't even get that out the way yet. Shakur wants to be rich just like everybody else. Look at the jewelry he wears. He got aspirations to make his money as well. And now he's finally out of that top rank situation that was putting a cap and a ceiling over him on what he could do. And now he's a free agent / working with one of the biggest money guys in the game in Turkey Al Sheikh, and being one of, if not the top fighter that Tank wants to fight. Tank's most like, this is the guy right here. This is the generationally defining fight in my career and in Shakur's career. He's taking his time with it. He's being patient with it. He's carrying it a certain way so he doesn't fumble his bag. And he's not going to fumble it by calling Tank out because you guys are saying it, or making the fight pressing Tank right now to make the fight now, rather than honoring what he agreed to with that team over there to say, yeah, we'll roll it out. Just let me know what you want to do. I'll be available when you're available. And until then, I'm going to get ready and keep busy and stay active.
Right. Hey, Clay, can we address what salute to 2 Cents for entering the building. Rick Tim's coming in the building. Shout out again to Rollo Green. Can you address what 2 Cents just asked her question? 2 Cents Boxing rather was the plan is most money risk, in my opinion, but I will watch a fight how they move next year. So
let me read it.
You want to address it? It's not really a question.
Wrong.
Yeah, because I definitely messed up. I can't even see that. You see my eyes squinting, right? I don't got my glasses.
Right. I'm going to read it. The plan is most money, least risk, in my opinion, but I will watch how he moves in the next year. 100%. That's what it comes down to, 2 Cents. I agree with you 100%. When it comes to Tank Davis and the Tank Davis business, that's what it comes down to, right? And that's the order of that you'll see him carry the fights, right? He's going to get the guaranteed money out the way. He's going to pick up the Lomachenko, put him down. He's going to grab whatever. If he looks at Shakur Stevenson as his biggest payday out of the 6 fights that he's trying to put together, or if he looks at him as the biggest competition, the biggest Rubik's Cube, the biggest chess player that he's going to be playing against, and he's going to take him towards the middle end of the run. He's not going to take him right now. He's going to take a bunch of other fights. It's not far-fetched to say that he'll do that. So we do got to watch the game play out. We do have to watch the game play out. But if you don't hear Tank complaining, and honestly, you don't hear Tank's team complaining. Really, they're just trolling Shakur and just, having a good time. Kenny Ellis and them are just trolling him, getting into it with him on Twitter and all that. But there's no real, I haven't seen any real smoke or any real disgust with Shakur. Like, oh, you're making this hard. You're messing this fight up. You're turning down deals. You're pricing yourself out. I don't hear that type of talk coming from over there. So I just think that at the end of the day, we do need to give it some time. And I'm telling you guys, relax. Stop being so quick to attack.
That's what I was going to say. Clay,
hold on.
I was going to say that. I think she was talking about Shakur.
Relax.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, hold on. Relax. Take your time. Everybody chill and allow this thing to develop the way it's going to develop. It doesn't have to be somebody's ducking this early in the conversation. It doesn't have to be somebody's running and doesn't want to fight this early in the conversation. This conversation is a bigger conversation than, yo, they should be fighting next month. Y'all got to calm down, bro. Y'all don't dictate nothing over here. Tank has showed you many times we're going to move the way I want to move. And Shakur's just getting on the Tank program of ignoring y'all. And the reason I say these things is because the boxing space is becoming less and less credible in these conversations. These fighters aren't listening to you guys no more. Let's be honest about this. They're not listening. They're not hearing your voices no more. The demand, the fight you want to see, things of that nature, because they know you guys are emotional. You're getting your feelings. You're wishy-washy. You're on their side one time. Now you're against them the next time. They know that all it takes is to lose a certain way, and you'll have no more respect and love for them. You've lost your voice. Now it's just become a bunch of children bickering in a space, and then the fighters are in this other space where they're not even listening to you guys no more because they know they'll be there. They'll be there. They'll be there. They'll be there when we need them to be there. They're not listening no more, right? So I think we should, find some patience, celebrate these fighters a little bit more, right? Celebrate them for what they accomplish. Look for them to make the adjustments on where they come when they fall short, right? And look forward to seeing them fight again. Get into that spirit of boxing again, where we're watching boxing from that angle, from a fan point of view. We're no longer trying to manage boxers' business, manage their money, manage how they roll out fights, manage how they do these situations and criticize them and say they're stupid for doing this and they should have done this. When we're sitting in townhouses, 1,500, 1,600, 1,800 square foot town cribs, paying Cardinals that are kicking our ass, and we have no idea how to manage $50 million, $30 million, $12 million, $1 million, and turn that into and double and triple and quadruple that. We should sit back and learn and stop shitting on each other because one person thinks they know more than the other person. You know what I mean? It's really just unnecessary.
Right.
It's really very unnecessary.
My bad. I didn't know I was on mic. My bad. Yeah. At the end of the day, what I was saying is I think she was referring to Shakur, not Tank. After you did that build when you started off, I was trying to catch you before you went in. What's up, Lance Myers?
No, but I wanted to do that build though. It was a good build
cool.
because
yeah, it was. No, I was gonna say it was. You know what I mean? And a lot of people was like, "Yo, they honor that." And I think the same thing's on both sides of the street. I don't see the Hold on a second. I don't see the big fight for Shakur, being that he's chasing his bag right now so much. I think he is getting paid for the fight. Yeah, he's getting paid for it because he went to sign the match room for whatever the accolades was to get his fights done, his next two fights, or next fight rather, with Cepeda. That was supposed to be a really good fight. It's supposed to be a decent payday for him. So what happens? You have the substitute fighter. So he's still going to be that guy, the A side in that fight. He's not going to be the A side with Tank. So how he moves is how he moves. What doesn't matter how he moves. The thing is, he's a boxer. He's going to move the way he wants at the beat of his own drum. We're trying to make people move the way we want them to move. At the end of the day, we don't have to move that. If that guy feels like jumping in the ring with Tank at a fight, that's what we want to see. He's not going to do it. If he's not at the event, he's not at the event. But if he's at the event or Tank's at the event, then Tank should jump in the event, in the ring with him. Like, yo, you next, bro. Let's get it on. Then we know something's happening. All we do is see things on Twitter and blah, blah, blah. And rather this coach says this and this guy's building on this and saying, I support.
And they're acting weird over there. Yeah. Just adding to it. Let me just read some of these comments in here. Legacy over currency, facts 100. Too much pocket watching nowadays. That's 100%. Why you mad at Toy? Y'all do know times change, right? Eggs was $2 5 years ago. Shout out, yo. I got 3 kids and a whole family. I resonate with what Why You Mad Toya said right there. Salute to you. Salute to you. You damn right. Eggs is mad expensive, bro. You know what I'm saying? Things are different nowadays. And I don't, at the end of the day, why you mad, Toya? What's significant about what you said to me is the ROI makes a big difference today. It's very important, especially since PBC has left the Showtime, right? Since Showtime left the PBC, however you want to look at it, ROI is a very important topic today. Return on investment. They're going to take their time and put this together the right way and ensure themselves the best way possible that the return is going to be worthwhile and make sense and put everybody where they expect to be, meet expectations, right? And that doesn't happen putting Shakur Stevenson as a replacement fight, as a last minute change up. Oh, we're going to throw Shakur in there since we got an opening. No, that requires a rollout. It requires a strategic game plan, marketing wise. Marketing strategy needs to be applied to this in a certain way to make sure that the people on the outside of Tank and the outside of Shakur are seeing what they want to see, because they have to invest into the situation for it to manifest into what we want to see, which is a huge event, right? So we got to slow down. We got to slow down, and we got to stop acting like we know how to manage their bread. And I think I saw Sue Sense say something earlier. Let me see if I can find it. She said, fight fans always been like that. I hear you, 2 cents. I really do hear you. You know what I mean? You're probably right. You know what I mean? But I think it's definitely more profound today than it's ever been because of social media, right? Our ability to be on platforms like this, the internet, the way people communicate. It's bigger now probably than it's ever been, but it's more toxic now than it's ever been because now the fighters and the promoters have access to us in a way that they didn't have it before. They're able to hear us complain and judge them and leave them and not be their fans for whatever reason, or be over, you know what I mean, overbearing on the way they're handling business more than they ever had access to do it. So I think it affects things in the long run. And I do believe right now that boxing fans' voices just don't matter anymore based on that approach that fans have been doing. I think they don't listen to us no more. You hear him talking about it more and more openly. Obviously, you've heard Shakur says he doesn't care about what the fans think. Tank has said it as well. You know what I mean? He cares about what they think when he's in the ring, when he's fighting. He don't want nobody booing him. He wants to give the biggest show, but he's no longer taking into consideration. Think about it. Tank has not taken fights for real, except for, let's say, Ryan Garcia, maybe Rolly Romero, right? But outside of that, I know the Tank fans are gonna try to jump on me right now, but he's not sat back and be like, this is the fight y'all want. I'm gonna give y'all this fight. He's never really been on that. He's been on, I'm gonna give you guys exciting fights. I'm gonna pick the fighter. I saw somebody in a commentary in somebody's video today, I ain't gonna say no names, where the dude says, and this is something I've heard consistently. I don't even care who Tank fights. I just want to see him fight. And you know why he's saying that? He's saying that because you can hear the reality in his voice, which is, it don't matter what I think anyway. So I just want to see him fight who he's going to fight. That's what he's saying. I'm not. It don't matter anyway because he's not going to fight who I tell him to fight. He's going to fight who he want to fight. Right? Back in the day, our voices mattered more. They wanted us. They cared. They cared. You know what I'm saying? They cared what we wanted to see. They cared about making the biggest fights. They cared about us celebrating them in the right way. They cared. They don't care no more, bro. That's why Andre Ward retired the way he did. Like, I'm out, bro. I got enough money. Why I'm gonna put my ass online? I got enough money, my family straight. For these fans? Hell no. Nah. That's why Terrence is sitting there like, I don't care about fighting no boots, bro. The hell with y'all, bro. I'm looking for the biggest bag. I'm gonna do what I want to do that's gonna give me satisfaction, because it don't matter with you guys no more, because you guys aren't even real boxing fans anymore. You guys don't even respect real boxing no more. So why do I acknowledge you? Now you see Shakur Stevenson following suit, and you're going to continue to see these fighters feel that way, move that way. Look at Teofimo. Yo, unless you give me the money I want, the fight I want, I ain't going to fight. He ruined his own damn career of the strength of not giving a damn what the fans think. Right? So, you know, take it how you want to take it. Take it with a grain of salt for whatever it's worth. But, you know, patience and respect goes a long way. Respect is a big word. Respecting these fighters a little bit more and stop knocking them down for every little reason, calling them ducks, making, 20, 30-minute long videos about why these uses this and that and everything else. I don't know if that's not necessary. Yeah. None of you guys want to get in the ring and get it in blood with these dudes. So let's be real.
Right. And just like I said earlier, you heard me say this, and I had to bring it to a fan's point. You guys are really kicking Shakur's back in for fighting Cardina. All right, let's take the other side of that fence. Cardina is fighting Shakur. Cardina just came off a fight. Cardina was a champion at 130. You know what I mean? And tried to unify at 130. That he couldn't get the fight because they were all at top rank, right? I mentioned this earlier, but guess what? We look at somebody else who just moved up, came off a terrible loss, and we're sitting here giving that guy all the accolades and talk about, yeah, we're gonna make this fight, blah blah blah. We support Earl Spence, and I support Earl like crazy. I support Earl, and he came off a dog walk in the park for real, saved by the bell. Terrence beat him up and then gave him a break. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm
the spike choker, right? With the choker that goes in the neck and everything, like sit, heel.
Yeah. Right.
Don't eat that. Come here.
You know
what I mean?
You know what I mean? Take all that, take the electrical thing off his neck so we can run around the yard, bro. Like, don't lie. So,
as a neighbor, you're watching like, hey man, Hey, man, come on, bro. That's a dog, man. He don't know no better, bro.
Right.
Relax, bro. Why you doing him like that? Shut
Look, I
up.
ain't gonna call him a dog.
Tell me what to
All
do
right.
with my
I don't
dog.
want to go that far. you switch it up. But at the end of the
Don't tell
day,
me what
bro,
to do with
at
my
the end of the
dog.
day, he really
Mind
dog
your
walked that man
business,
in the
bro.
ring, bro. Yeah, mess with you, bro. I'm trying to cook right now. But yeah, I got you, Clay. But at the end of the day, yo, we not holding Fedora to that same statement. Why are you fighting Earl when Bud called you out? Bud's undefeated. Bud was that guy. Why are you pulling this guy up from 147 and fighting him for the title? Why didn't you take the Bud fight? Why didn't you rematch Tim Zoo? We ain't holding him to that standard. Why not? Right? He's a champion, right? He had 2 belts. He ended up losing one because he didn't want to take that fight because he took Earl. But nobody's talking about that. No one talking about him in the place of Cardina, right? No, we're not. Oh, he had 3. He was unified. He was a better champion. Man, a champion is a champion at the end of the day. I don't care how many belts you got. You're still a champion in that division. You know what I mean? Somebody can take one of those belts. They can strip you from one of those belts. That don't make you unified, undisputed, whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, it just makes you a champion. And that dude was a champion in the division, and he moved up because he couldn't make weight, and he came off a loss. End of story. And he had the weight before. It wasn't like he was always at that weight. He fought at that weight before and went down. So we're really bigging up what? Like, what are we talking about when we talk about these fights and these weird comparisons, bro? Come on, man. Let's just keep it 100. Treat all the fighters the same. You know what I mean? If you're gonna talk about Cardina and Shakur, talk about Fedora and Earl the same way. If not, I ain't got really nothing to say.
And to add to that, now I agree with everything you said. I really appreciate everything you said, man. I agree with it. And to add to that, to say that if you don't like the fight, don't watch the fight. Watch another fight. There's other fights going on. You know what I'm saying, but you know, as in the boxing space, me personally, I just feel like a lot more celebrating is needed for this sport to get where it needs to be. A lot more celebrating. If you can't tell, you remember what your mom used to tell you, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Bro, you ain't gotta sit out there and just make a hate campaign on a fighter. Focus on celebrating your fighter, bro. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta hate on fights and break down fights and judge people. It just gets ridiculous, bro. These guys are athletes, bro. They're athletes. Judge them on the athletic level, bro. You get all personal with them, and you start calling them, scared and fearful, and more than likely it's not true. More than likely it's just not true. They didn't make it this far in their career to become who they are, to be all caught up in these things that y'all putting them in, bro. They've done too much. The amateurs, some of them Olympians, the amount of fights they've been in, it's just beneath them, and it shows and it exposes your casual energy to them, and it makes them go and say what they've been saying, which is, we don't care about these dudes. They don't know nothing about boxing. That's why you'll see parents in an interview being like, yo, these dudes don't know nothing about boxing, bro. They don't understand. They want to see fighting. They need to go to the UFC. We're not fighting over here. We're boxing. You'll hear them say these things in different interviews. It exposes you when you sit out there and you think you have any right, as somebody who's not a professional boxer, who has never competed on a professional level, to pass judgment on somebody who's putting their life on the line in the ring, taking shots that would kill you, literally, right? Taking hooks and straight shots and power shots that would kill you. Any of you guys in this chat got punched in the face like Frank Martin got punched in the face when he fought against Tank Davis might not wake up. Might not wake up to get punched in the face like that. Y'all not built to sit there and judge that man and call him trash or call him anything, use derogatory statements against him. Y'all not built for that, bro. Y'all should stay in y'all lane, bro. But it is what it is.
Right. And it's crazy because what makes it different? That's all. God, I think what makes that different? Like, what's a good question? Free Smoke had a question, or is that just in general?
Young Lady Shakur is the real deal. Non-figure said, "Young Lady Shakur is the real deal." But Bradley mean as hell, bro. He said, "Free Smoke, good question." What did Free Smoke say? Let me find Free Smoke. Free Smoke says he had a question. I see 2 Cents said he had a question. I'm trying to find
what do
it.
you do for a living? Oh, that's personal.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't know.
He's a boxing. He's a hacker of boxing, bro. He tells you all that. Things are situational in boxing.
Shout out to Donnie D in the building, showing love, man. Facts, Clay. I appreciate that, bro. And I hope that people understand where I'm coming from with that, right? I'm not trying to scold the boxing community as much as it might look like I'm trying to do that, because I'm really not. What I am saying though is, man, there's a way to be a fan, man. There's a way to respect, hold people accountable, ask for what you want, let the world know how you feel about certain situations without, calling people liars and ducks and jumping into the bag of just like, it just makes the sport you love so much, supposedly, it makes the sport look down on you. It does. It makes the sport look at you like, who wants to be loyal or who wants to represent or showcase, put my best foot forward or make sacrifices for, take less money for, compromise things that I think are important to me to impress a fan like that? You feel me? Who speaks of me like that? Who speaks of you know what I mean? Why? The hell with you, bro. I'm gonna do what I feel like doing, and when it benefits me, it'll work out for you. And if it don't benefit me the way I feel like it should benefit, then you might never get it, dog. What do I care?
So Toya, if Fedora beats, does Fedora got to knock out Earl, or it's gonna be a boring fight or a terrible fight? That's just a crazy question because I see what you wrote, and I don't think that Shakur has to knock him out. Shakur just has to beat the dude. You know what I mean? He has to make, even if he makes a mockery out of him. Why does everybody have to be a knockout? We're looking. Here's a question. Here's another question I have for the chat. Does anybody even know who Cordina is? I just broke down who he was. Does anybody know who he was? Because I think y'all just learned about him. And I think y'all just running with the narratives, like I said, of these people just pushing names out there and saying, "Oh, he just got a fighter from 130." Nobody said this when Tank pulled up a champion from 130 2 times. No one. That was like, "Oh, it's a great fight. He's a good fight. He knocked out Chris Colbert." Oh yeah, I remember hearing that. Why is it different? Why is it different? He's an ex-champion. You know what I mean? Come on, like we look at things differently, man. Like you got to treat everybody with the same. And I'm not trying to throw Tank in the bus on this situation. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that as in general, as you. It's okay for this guy because he can fight whoever he wants, and then this guy he has to knock him out or he has to do this, bro. It has to be the same for everybody. Regardless of how you do this, it has to be the same for everybody. All we do is look at things
Salute, why you mad?
in a perspective of one. It's like looking at the crystal ball, and it just keeps giving us the things that we don't want to see, and then we talk about the things we want to see. You know what I mean? And we keep throwing that out there. Yo, we got to keep it real. Y'all are super like y'all. It's just a spirit of casualness that y'all show. It's like y'all don't know who the boxers are. It's like y'all just see what the other person is saying. It sounds good, so we're gonna repeat it. Do some research. Do some homework. You know what I mean? Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's talk about it. Let's build on the fights. If you build on the fights, you know what the fights are about. You know what the people are about. You know what the boxers are about. We're not doing that. We're just going with he's coming from 130. He just came off a loss. Oh, we about to watch him get knocked out by Shakur. We don't know that. It didn't happen yet. If that's the case, why watch the fight? Same thing with Tank and Shakur. Oh, Tank gonna beat the dog meat off of Shakur. Pause. So why we watching the fight? Oh, he's gonna knock out Devin. So why do we want to see the fight? Why do we want to see these fights so bad if all this is gonna happen? What's the point of making a fight? We just move on to the next one.
Yeah, I hear you. People, 2 cents. I hear you. People do have their own perspectives, and this is our perspective. So
right,
you feel me? Like everybody does have their perspective, and I respect everybody's right to have their own perspective. I truly respect your right to be however you want to be and then carry it how you want to carry it.
But my perspective is not pushing narratives and holding tools in my holster or being a holster for somebody else's tool. At the end of the day, it ain't that. We ain't doing that. Nah, we ain't holding nobody's tool. We ain't meat riders. We ain't doing none of that. We trying to talk boxing. We try to bring it out here. That's my perspective, right? I'm talking about boxing and everything in general on both sides of the street. I keep it right down the middle. But y'all be on some, oh well, yeah, I'm gonna hold his tool. I'm his holster, and we're just gonna talk about everything he want to do. And that dude don't give two rotten shits about you. He don't know you. He don't care. He ain't come on there and say, hey, what's up? How you doing, so and so? You know what I mean? He don't do that to y'all. And then if y'all do get him on the channel, he'll probably laugh at everything y'all say because he ain't saying the things y'all saying. Yo, it's crazy. This is crazy. Like, yo, let's just keep it a buck.
Yeah. Actually, my co-host got me that picture. You know what I'm saying? I put it in the frame and put it up. You know what I'm saying? That we got that Clubber Lang picture for sure, for sure. But back to 2 cents, just to say you're right. It's all subjective. It's all about what you like and you don't like. But you know, I'm definitely sharing from a personal space of understanding from the outside looking in, watching boxing over the years, and I'm being honest with you guys to say that I've watched these boxers really lose. Like, I don't want to say
Respect.
love, but
It's respect.
and I'll say respect is definitely a good word to describe it, but also they've become desensitized to you guys. That's the word I want to say. They no longer are affected by what you guys say because they've acknowledged the huge, profound, casual energy that's in this space. They've acknowledged it. They can tell. They can tell, you know what I mean? These guys aren't watching boxing. These guys just celebrate 1 or 2 fighters. These guys have gotten besides themselves and don't respect us the way we respected boxers before us. Before we became boxers, the way we respected the game, these fans really get besides themselves and say the craziest things and don't have no knowledge behind what they're saying. We don't need to acknowledge them no more. And they don't. They're not there with you guys no more. Some of them are. They have the hope and they operate on them, but you can see them transition in their careers where they get to a point where it's like, the hell with them. I'm gonna do what's good for me. The hell with what these fans are talking about. Salute Hood Rich in the building, my guy. Salute.
And that dude right there is Tank's right hand man, bro. So for him to agree with us and say that, yo, yeah, y'all talking the truth, and that's what it is, means something. We just keeping it 100. We just keeping it 100.
There's so much.
However y'all want to move, that's how y'all move.
There's so many fights going on, and we don't talk about it. No. There's so much to talk about boxing. We don't because we spend so much time kicking in a fighter's back, bro.
All right, Clay, I'm gonna head out because freaking kicking me off. I was heading out anyway. I'm going out with my wife, so y'all enjoy.
Yeah, you have a good night, my dude, man. Enjoy it, man. Tell your wife I said what's
frequent.
up.
You can. All right, yeah. All right, no doubt. Later.
All right, family. Yeah. So you know what I mean? They're understanding more and more so often what's going on. And all I'm saying is try a little tenderness, you know what I'm saying? Try a little bit more loving on boxing. Try a little bit more watching boxing. Focus on watching more boxing. Catch these fights, man. Figure out these fighters. Stop seeing fights to where it's your guy who you know, and then the guy on the other side of the ring, you have no idea who they are. And instead of putting the time and the effort into watching that guy fight, let me pull up some footage on him. Let me see what he's done. Let's see if he can offer any type of adversity in the fight. Let's see if he can test my fighter in a certain way. Let's stylistically match my fighter up with the best fights out there. Instead of doing that, we spend 3.5, 4 hours on a live chat kicking in the back of one fighter or defending another fighter the whole night. And then disrespecting each other, too, on a level that's profound, right? The stuff that I've seen going on some of these chats and the conversations that I've seen people get into, oh, man. We don't even need to get into that, right? You know what I wanted to politic with you guys about as well, because we you know what I mean, this is all good and dandy. Well, let me read some of these right quick, because there's a fight that I want to talk about with you guys for sure. And I definitely want to also talk about Tank's next fight of who is going to be, because I know that they're talking about Raul Venezuela is a legitimate option for Tank. I think that's an interesting situation because Raul Venezuela just got that 140-pound WBA title, and for Tank to leave the 135 division and go up to 140 to compete with Raul Venezuela in that level, I have questions about how aligned that is with Tank's goals to become an undisputed champion at 135, and also is that going to bring any criticism to Tank Davis, being that there was this big deal made about him fighting Devin Haney at 140, right? Keeping in mind, of course, that he never said he had an issue fighting Devin Haney at 140. I want that to go on record that I knew that Tank spoke about it lightly in an interview at the Ryan Garcia press conference one time about why would he go up in weight, but I never heard from Tank that going up to 140 was going to be such a disadvantage for him that he wouldn't do it, right? in the negotiation process, as far as the money and as far as his A-side privilege, why would he just give in what benefits him to somebody else to help them out? I agree with that. But we'll talk about that in a minute as far as what his next fight might be. I personally, I'm on a side of the conversation where people are probably not going to ride with me so much, where I feel like if he can't lock in that Loma fight or lock in that Shakur fight, which neither one of those fights seem like they're going to be locked in, I thought it would make more sense to see Tank Davis go down a Dennis Berinchyk type of direction, just off the strength of unifying and getting him closer to becoming an undisputed champion in that weight class. But I digress, right? Diego Pacheco has a fight coming up this weekend, guys. Are we aware of that fight? Diego Pacheco has a fight coming up this weekend, right? Hold on, let me see. Hold on a second here. Yeah, for sure, Boxing Hacker came out. For sure. You know, you guys know I'm slow in the wrenches, bro. Bear with me. I'll do that in a minute. Let me do that right quick. Boxing Hacker's always been here showing love for sure. Let me read some of these comments in here, man. Get at some of these comments because we be leaving you guys in the dust sometimes. Let's see here. But by the way, salute Hood Rich already said that. Okay, Blaze said Cook Clay. Appreciate you, Blaze. Salute to you, man. Left Hook. Lazy says right. Casuals think Haney is is undefeated. Yeah, Haney's definitely not undefeated. Left Hook. I'm not one of those guys who say he's undefeated, but on paper he is undefeated, right? But that fight is a fight that's going to be there as far as the fans are concerned. It's going to be legitimately a loss. It's going to be something that going into the fight, if he has a rematch with Ryan Garcia, it's going to be considered that Ryan Garcia won that fight and that Devin Haney's getting his respect back. I don't think there's no reason to hide that or sugarcoat that, right? But that doesn't discount what Ryan did as far as his cheating, as far as his PD usage and things of that nature. But yeah, trying to act like you didn't see what you saw in that ring would be disingenuous. We saw what we saw in that ring, right? That's real. Let's see here. Boxing Hacker, laugh my ass off. We will see free smoke. Time will tell. For now, okay, that's not for us, right? That's not for the world. Let's go down. Nine Fingers Clay, you speaking the truth. I appreciate that. Hood Rich, everybody can have their opinions. Just don't disrespect Hood Rich. Exactly, Hood Rich. 100%, man. Don't disrespect. There's no reason to do it, man. This is really no reason to do it. Calling somebody a liar and they ducking and they scared and they cowards, bro. That's fighting words, man. For what? Y'all not built like that. Y'all not carrying it like that to these dudes, bro. Y'all not jumping in the ring with these dudes and carrying that energy. Y'all not living like that, bro. I don't care. If y'all ain't living that with, come on, man. We don't even need to go there. Y'all gotta chill, bro. Y'all be doing the most, bro. So it's not that serious. Let's see here. Boxing Hacker. Shit, I was happy when LeBron was back with the Cavs. Rich Ways, blah, 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 blah. LeBron. We got some basketball here. Y'all let rules stick for one fighter and not the other. Let's see. Y'all let rules stick for one fighter and not the other. It's not okay for Tank to fight undefeated fighters, but it's okay for Shakur now in his career to fight a guy coming off a loss, and that's cool. Why you mad at Toya? It's not that it's cool per se, because in comparison to each other, you can look at it how you want, but understand that Shakur is building himself. He's in a different space than Tank Davis. Tank Davis is an A-side shot calling fighter. He makes the fights that he wants to make happen. He moves the needle. Shakur's not in the same space as Tank. So Shakur takes what he can get still, right? What's available to Shakur is what he takes still. He hasn't made enough money to sit back and do nothing and call out who he wants and get who he wants. Look what he went through at 135. Look at how he dealt with getting a fight with Frank Martin, not going to shit. Trying to get a fight with Emmanuel Navarrete so he could become a unified champion, and that went to shit. Try to get a fight with William Zepeda. Couldn't get that fight, right? Called out Tank and was like crapped on. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? He doesn't get the options that Tank gets. He has to get what he can kill, what's available for him. So yeah, him fighting Joe Cordina, is it a fight that I particularly want to see? No, it really isn't. It's not. I got no problem admitting that. That's not an ideal fight for me to watch him fight. I acknowledge the significance of the loss that he took, and that Shakur it would have been better to see Shakur fight William Zepeda, which is the fight that he was trying to put together, right? It fell through because William Zepeda had some prior arrangements to have his child with his wife, and he didn't want to fight then. So he took the next fight because it was also very important that Shakur Stevenson got on that card. That it was also important for Shakur Stevenson to get the money that Turkey was obviously, willing to pay him. So he did what he had to do. And yeah, he gets a pass to a degree because we understand what he's doing. But we also understand that him and Tank, no matter how you guys want to paint it, him and Tank is going to be the biggest fight for this generation at 135 pounds. Right? Potentially, at least. We all want to see it. So we'll see how that turns out. Let's see. Hoodrich said Tank gonna catch all of them. Just chill. 100% Hoodrich. 100%. Matter of fact, let me put the link in the chat because we're getting close to the end of the evening. And that way everybody has an opportunity to jump on, that wants to jump on and that wants to build on anything. Let's see here. Let's see. Blaze, man. Shout out to Blaze in the building. Social media is a key component to marketing fights. These boxers and their promoters have to make the adjustments to leverage the medium. Right now, I'm seeing boxers not play it right. I'm cool with that. I can rock with that. For sure. I can rock with that. Let's see here. I got him, frequent. I already did that. Raya won't be ready, Robert said. Ooh. Really, Hoodrich. So that's going to be interesting to see who, and I remember Robert Garcia saying that, Hoodrich. I really do. But that's going to be interesting. Who is Tank going to fight? If it's not going to be Ryo, you know what I mean? Yo, salute Blaze, pound for pound.
Peace, brother.
How you doing, family?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you having me on the show.
No doubt, man. What's on your mind?
Oh, man, I just want to know what we talking about because, I've been in here, so I want to talk about what you want to talk about, Claymore. You cooking right now?
All right, well, let's talk about the Tank Davis situation. Right now, Hoodrich just said that Raya won't be ready, as per Robert Garcia, and Hoodrich is somebody who has a close relationship with Tank Davis, so he kind of has a little bit of insider angle on what's going on over there. So look, maybe Rayo's the next fight, maybe he's not, but have you put any thought into like who you're expecting Tank to fight now that Loma's off the table, that Shakur's off the table? Who do you see that matchup being with?
All right, so here's what I look at with Tank. And Tank's, in an exceptional position that's different from all these other fighters because Tank has a 6-fight contract worth over $200 million, right?
Right.
And so, when we talk and compare, there's levels to it. If everybody want a pocket check, right? Understand the position that Tank's in, right? So my thing, and also with Tank, just to be clear, I want to just state my opinion with Tank. Tank is a complete fighter, and he's a boxer. Some of the things that I said in the chat is like when we talk about casuals and people that get on here and troll or talk, boxing out there, you know what? They don't watch full fights, much less analyze the fights, right? And the sad part about it is it's all on YouTube. But because it's so much instant gratification, it's just reaction and retweeting and people are banging it out in the chat, right? We don't get accurate opinions, just shit that goes viral, when people make these opinions about these boxers. Because one thing about it, like what I like to do with these fighters is not only watch their recent fights, but go back to the beginning. And what I can say about Tank's fundamentals, boxing is solid. His jab's solid. His combination is solid. His footwork is solid. And it culminates now to where we're watching him perform at the highest level. That Frank Martin fight was a masterpiece. And what I would say with his last few bouts, if you we'll just go back from Pitbull Cruz because that's when he hurt his hand and where he didn't get the knockout then, right? But if you go back, he made adjustments. First, not even adjustments. He had a game plan for each individual fighter, right, coming into here and made the adjustments within those fights and got him out of there with one-punch stoppages, right? So getting back to where I'm at with Tank is Tank's in the driver's seat as far as being able to get an opponent and put on a show. And so because he has that contract and has that money locked in, he's gonna fight somebody of high quality. I respected the Rayo fight because it was for a belt moving up to 140, right? If he's got to wait, he's where Shakur got to figure his shit out or whoever got to figure their stuff out because there's nobody I believe at 135 that can compete with Tank. And then I dare to say there's nobody at 140 either. So my whole particular thing is with Tank, Tank's gonna fight. Tank got 6-fight, $200 million contract. He's going to find somebody, and it's going to be of high value because their promoters and all that have to know that, hey, they want a return for the money that they signed a contract for. So he's going to fight somebody good. And the reality is, hey, he puts everybody away. So all these people in the chat talking about he ain't fought nobody or making all these excuses for individuals when he's literally putting people away. Like it's bogus. It's bogus. Understand, Tank is a complete fighter. He's in his prime. He's the most electrifying fighter in the game right now. We talk about the face of boxing. You got Canelo on the back end. He's ducking phase and he's getting older. Tank is the guy.
And another thing. And another thing, though.
Hood Rich in the building, by the way.
What's up, Hood Rich?
What's up, bro? Can y'all hear me?
Definitely, loud and clear. Salute the boxing hacker in the building as well.
Salute, bro. Bro, a lot of people keep saying Tank don't fight champions. If he don't fight champions, how did he beat more champions and undefeated fighters than both of them guys combined? Like, if you add them all together, they still won't be close. Like, y'all just be trying to say anything, bro. But
cook, Rich, cook.
It just don't make no sense, bro. Because a lot of people swore, man, Frank the one, especially Nick J. She was, I'm gonna troll y'all so bad when Frank went. What happened? He sleep. Now she hating some more.
And Hood Rich, I want to add on to you. Hey, everybody give Frank Martin his credit. Frank Martin's a dog. Understand that. His last fight before that, Derrick James told him he was down and he got in there in them last rounds and dug it out. Sure. Frank Martin is a dog, and Frank Martin went toe-to-toe with Tank. There ain't nothing we can take away from him getting knocked out by Tank. Tank knocks out everybody. He showed up the box. He didn't run. He didn't do nothing. What happened is he ran into a buzzsaw. He ran into the best fighter at 135. And I look forward to Frank Martin come back because he's going to come back and he's going to whoop somebody's ass and we're going to have even more respect. And when do we start minimizing getting old snatched? When individuals is top prospects or they're competing and they got undefeated records and, we give them respect. But when they lose, we make up all these excuses and say there was a nobody. Frank Martin was far from a nobody. Frank Martin competes and the eye test with his tape. He fights at a high level. That's why I can't wait for Frank Martin to fight again. So that way y'all can give Tank more credit for the level of a fighter that he just took out. And I'm gonna let you cook, Hood Rich. You got to wait.
Wait, hold on, Rich. Before you go, let's let boxing hacker tap in a little bit. This is a spicy conversation, man. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since we had two real Tank knowledgeable true. Fans in the space that's kicking that heat, bro. But go ahead, boxing hacker. I know you're gonna come with something.
Yeah, salute to everybody. So when it comes to the whole thing about Tank fighting champions, right? So you have to look at it two ways, right? Like most people respect the top titles. They don't respect the secondary titles as much, because secondary titles are supposed to lead you to the top titles, right? And also, if you're fighting champions from lower weight divisions or it sort of doesn't count. So when we look at Tank's career, he fought Pedraza. He became a champion, right? That was a super title right there. He became a super champion.
But do y'all know who Pedraza was?
Yeah, we know. No, I'm giving credit for Pedraza, right? But the problem was
Pedraza wasn't that Pedraza that Keyshawn fought, bro. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, they're the same people. Maybe he was younger, but what I'm saying here is that when you look at him at 135, right? He's fought good competition. Nobody's taking that away from him. He fought great contenders, great interim champions, right? But think about he let, like I said, Devin Haney became undisputed in the division he campaigns in, right? And there have been champions, super champions like Lomachenko. There's been Tio, and he's the ace. We expect him. So we fight fans. We would expect him to fight those top champions versus contenders. Yes, Frank Martin's a great fighter, but at the end of the day, he's still a contender.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And you said was an interim that he ducked Haney.
Very title,
No, and that's what I'm saying. That's where I got to disagree. First and foremost, that undisputed and how they got there, that was in-house with Top Rank. And don't get it twisted. Let's not act like them. You making an assumption that them fighters wanted to fight Tank. Ain't no making no excuses. What are you talking about?
Wait,
Ain't no making no excuses. You guys are speaking on hypotheticals and because he didn't fight for undisputed, because he didn't fight for because he didn't fight for undisputed, he ducked them. He didn't want to fight. He didn't dodge none of them fighters. You don't have no proof of that.
Those fights
What are
didn't
you
happen.
talking
He
about,
was A side. If you're the A side, you have a lot of power to make fights.
Just because you the A side don't mean the other side want to fight. What are you talking about?
Well, we don't know that.
Wait,
You can't
we're
prove
talking
that.
over each other. Wait. Hold on. I don't want this to turn into word salad. Plus, I got two other people that I do need to bring into the conversation. But I would like to add a little bit to this to say that me personally, I don't see nobody ducking Tank. Not because they think they can beat Tank, because of the payday that comes with Tank. Anybody would jump on an opportunity to fight Tank Davis. The same way Berlanga's jumping into the ring right now with Canelo Alvarez, and most people don't feel like that's a realistic win for him. But that's not going to stop him from taking the opportunity, or anybody from taking the opportunity to jump in the ring with him and getting that money. Shoot, Terrence Crawford is willing to go up there and put his life on the line. You know, a lot to do with that bread. You know what I'm saying? So whenever you got a boxer like a Tank Davis or Canelo Alvarez, you got a big payday, possibly your biggest payday ever. Most fighters ain't gonna duck that situation, especially championship caliber level fighters. You know what I'm saying? Those fights didn't happen because those guys weren't on the right side of the street. They weren't on the right side of the A side B side conversation. Tank, for me, leaving Mayweather promotion and Tank after Mayweather promotions is two different Tank eras. I think in this era of Tank, you're going to see Tank fighting the fights that he wants to fight. He's no longer just fighting whoever's in front of him. I think the Tank that didn't fight the Lomachenko back in the day, or the Tank that didn't fight the Devin Haney back in the day, or whatever, fights that were out there for him to unify and become a champion, wasn't a Tank moving himself. He was more so under leadership and guidance, which, by the way, with hindsight, shows was one of the best moves he ever made, because that's part of what made him the face of boxing that he is, right? But I'm not going to judge that Tank based off of what Tank wants back then. I'm going to judge this Tank based off what Tank, because this Tank calls the shots.
He's three fights removed from Floyd, though, right?
Real quick. Wait, hold on. We're talking over each other. Bear with me, Boxing Hacker. I'm gonna let Hood Rich build real quick, but then I definitely want to jump into Too Rich. Salute to Too Rich in the building, and definitely let Rollo build again, and then we'll come back to Blaze.
Salute everybody, man. But look, now let's flip it around. If you wasn't getting nothing, like not nothing, but if you wasn't getting a high payday, they would not fight Tank, bro. They wouldn't. Honestly,
I agree with that. Yeah, high risk, no reward. Same way as Boots. You're right, 100%.
And I know that for a fact. But go ahead.
No, I agree with you, Hood Rich. I'm not guaranteeing they wouldn't, because I don't judge another man's heart. I don't know if they wouldn't, but I would tell you,
that wasn't for you, Clay. That wasn't for you, bro.
Yeah, the money not being there definitely would be a problem. That high risk, low reward. Who's going to try to put their belt or their career on the line for somebody who's probably going to do something bad to you and not have a reward at the end of that, right? Shout out to
everything you understand, Clay. It wasn't for you. It was for the people in the comments and stuff, bro. That's not.
No doubt. Salute to Too Rich. Wait, hold on. Salute to Too Rich in the building. How you doing, family?
Hey man, what's going on, Clay? What's up, panel? Hey man, I'm gonna take this angle right here, right? We know boxers, they're not scared of each other, so it's eliminate the fear of boxers. But we got to look at the business. Tank has the most to lose, right? Mm-hmm. So they're gonna be careful who they put in the ring, put Tank in the ring with. Now, if you want to look at the similarity between Devin and Shakur, all you got to do is learn about matchups. You can look this stuff up about how to match a fighter. If you have an elite boxer, who do you match him up with? You match an elite boxer up with a power puncher. So that's why Shakur's in the ring with De La Sante or Oscar Valdez. They'll put him in the ring with power punchers because the elite boxer should win that matchup. So if you understand, it's not about Tank being scared of Devin or Tank being scared of Shakur, but the business saying that's a riskier fight. Simple as that. It ain't complicated. It's a risky fight. It's not that Tank can't win, but are you going to risk all the money or what do they stand to gain for taking that risky fight? It's a matchup thing. It's as simple as it's a bad matchup for Tank. Shakur has been in the ring with power punches, so whether he run, whatever he does, he'll be used to it. Tank has never been in the ring with an elite boxer. Now let's look at history. Tyson Fury was called pillow fisted. He basically beat Deontay Wilder 3 times. Floyd Mayweather wasn't knocking anybody out, and Canelo was the power puncher. He couldn't land the power. With Crawford and Spence was the pressure fighter, the eye collector. Couldn't land it. The
But
power
just don't
puncher would
have
not
power,
beat
bro.
an elite boxer. And that's what the fear is. That's what the risk is. Let's say that. That's what the risk is. So if you're going to
I
take that fight,
disagree.
you're going to take it at the end of the contract. That's all I'm saying. At the end of the deal, you're going to take that fight closer to
I
the end of the
disagree,
deal.
man. I disagree, bro, and I'm gonna tell you why. Y'all acting like Tank gotta knock him out to win. He don't. He don't.
He
In
probably
But
my
he's
do.
not
opinion, bro,
outboxing Shakur, though. He's not outboxing
He
Shakur,
probably
though.
do.
crazy,
Got to
bro.
knock him out to win.
You is crazy, bro.
Nah, ain't nothing
In my
crazy about
opinion,
that.
bro, he boxed better than Shakur. In my opinion, because I
Ain't
see this
nothing
shit.
crazy about that. And where we getting it from is we've seen Tank lose rounds to lesser skilled boxers.
Exactly,
But
No,
We've
bro,
exactly.
seen
Shakur
Tank
never
when,
lose
punched him.
rounds
when,
to Frank Martin.
but
We've
listen,
seen
bro,
Shakur never
Barrios
punched him.
beat
bro,
Tank rounds.
when do you ever see Tank
Two
fight
other
the same
judges in
fight?
the Isaac Pitbull
Make
Cruz
play. I'll
fight
be in
had
the
it
chat, man.
7-5. So we seen him lose rounds to lesser boxers than Shakur did. So this is why we say if Pitbull won 5 rounds
I'm
on
gonna give
2
you hella
judges'
money,
charges,
bro.
we believe that Shakur can win 6 rounds on 2 judges' court. That's all
All
I'm
What's
right,
up?
saying.
What
man. Look,
Iran is it?
There's nothing
I had
crazy about
knowledge
that.
you about 15 minutes ago. You go behind me and speak to everybody else. Also, where is my wrench? I've been here long enough to have my wrench. Ariana is protesting for her wrench, bro. Let me.
yeah,
I'm gonna hook her, Ariana.
man. Yeah.
I'm
But
gonna hook
look,
her
right?
up. Mhm.
But look, though, right, bro? I forgot what you even just said, to be honest, bro. That was some bullshit. I swear I
What?
forgot,
What?
bro.
Wait,
You
hold on.
saying it's
Let me add
crazy
some
for
context.
Shakur
I
to
remember,
win rounds, but I just gave you lesser boxers that won rounds against Tank.
All right,
2
bro, but
judges had it
when
7-5 in the Pitbull Cruz fight against Tank. You don't
bro,
think Shakur's
listen,
levels above
bro,
Pitbull?
when when do you ever see him fight the same fight? You think he gonna give up rounds to Shakur so he can run
You
around for the
missing the point.
No, he's not,
I can give
because
you
those rounds may
5
never
different
come back.
fighters, 5 different styles that Tank lost
Those rounds may
numerous
never
amount of
come back.
rounds to. You see what I'm
and
saying?
then bro, y'all be thinking Tank be down. He don't be down. Y'all just think he down.
Man,
If
you
you go look at the
delusional. You
scorecard,
Some
he
people
probably
delusional.
thought he
be
was down
Then you
against
talking
Frank
about he
Martin
fought all these
up to like
champions.
the
How
round
would
they
he
got
ain't
knocked
never
out in.
unified? He ain't never fought a
bro.
champion at
All right,
135.
bro.
Did you
Look,
know that?
check this out. If you want to talk, bro, we can send our money to Claymore. We can bet on the fight, bro. Bet on
We
Shakur.
just talking boxing, man. They ain't going to fight. First of all, Tank
Exactly,
is not going to
exactly.
take
Y'all
no
talk all
hard
that shit.
challenge.
Y'all put no
It's been
money up.
going on for
Exactly.
6 years
Wait,
now.
I got to respond to what Claymore
6
said
years
Y'all
earlier.
now
niggas
this
don't
been
believe
going
me.
Yo,
on. This
guys,
ain't just going
hold
on.
on. Wait, Bear. We're talking over each other and it's word salad. I promise you, sounds horrible on the internet. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Boxing hacker, go ahead, go get it off your chest. You see, Chase, my guy, Too Rich off. Too Rich is one of my guys, man, and he had to fall out and go into the. I feel like crap, but go ahead, Boxing hacker.
Yeah, so when it comes to the narrative that the Tank of now is different from the Tank of when he was under Floyd Mayweather.
Mm-hmm.
So just based on public perception, I can't agree with that because Tank himself said he never asked Floyd Mayweather for the big fights. He said that in an interview by himself.
Right.
Also, we've seen a couple of times where Floyd said, for instance, when Floyd said, "Hey, I'm after this fight, I want to make the Lomachenko fight." Remember that? And Tank was like, "No, I'm not taking that fight." And even the Pedraza fight, we give Tank praise for the Pedraza fight, but Tank said that he felt Floyd Mayweather was setting him up to take that fight, and he just happened to be like being dog, he was just dog ready for that day. But he said that probably leans in, he might not even taken the Pedraza fight. So like this whole narrative that Floyd was the one holding him back, I don't think so. Like at least we haven't seen that publicly. Privately maybe, but publicly looked like at one point, Floyd looked like he wanted to make the Lomachenko fight, and he was the one who pushed for the Pedraza fight, which coincidentally is the only like true super title that Tank had. So we have to respect that. So it's hard for me to be like, well, it's a different Tank of today. Maybe now he's coming close to the end of his career. He feels like, hey, whatever, let all hang out, But I don't think he's that much different from the past, no.
Yeah, the Tank, just to kind of respond and push back at that a little bit, to say that the Tank back then made a decision, right? He under the advisement of the people around him, he played his position. He said, "You pick the fights, I'll fight them because you guys have the experience. We've had a conversation about what I want out of my career. the amount of success I want, the amount of money I want, where I want to be ultimately when this is all said and done. And they said, "Hey, champ, we hear what you want, and I'm telling you, do what we tell you to do, and you're going to get there." And one thing that I've noticed about Tank Davis is he will buy into the process, right? If they tell him he doesn't need to be worrying about fighting the fights that he wants to fight, he'll stop worrying about it. And he'll follow once he believes in you, once he believes in Calvin Ford. Calvin Ford had moments like that famous moment when they were in the ring and Calvin Ford was training him and said, "How long have I been training you to do this? Have faith in me. When I tell you penitentiary rules, stay up in there." And Tank, boom, bought into it. When he decided that Floyd Mayweather had the advice he needed to, there were times when you see him in the corner talking to Calvin, and then Floyd would be saying something, and you'll see Tank turn over and look right at Floyd. Even in the most contentious moments where we knew that there was issues, where Tank didn't like Floyd jumping into the middle of the conversations or his questions being asked to him, and Floyd was just kind of being overbearing, Tank still stayed humble and stayed in his lane, because once he buys into the process, he'll commit to that to be the game plan that'll benefit him best in his career. So when I say the old Tank versus the new Tank, I'm saying that Tank bought into the process. So you're not going to see that Tank ask for fights, because that Tank was advised that that's not important right now. What's important now is that we build your brand and your market value. Have faith in what we're saying. Be coachable. Be very coachable, not only in the ring with our training, what we're telling you to do in the ring, but also what we're telling you to do outside of the ring. Right? Yeah. But now Tank is in a chapter in his career to where he's more hands-on with his own career. He's actually making these decisions now, and we're going to start seeing him getting to these fights that he wants, and he has no problem doing that now. You saw it when he came back from his hiatus, from that situation, from his law and all that. When he came back and when that Frank Martin press conference, everybody noticed that was a complete different Tank Davis. The amount of talking he did, the amount of antics he did, the amount of trolling he did, even the lighthearted jokes he was making. You saw more of the real Tank. This is a new era and a new time in Tank's career, and I expect to see different things from him. I expect to see fights get made.
I
would agree with you, Claymore. My only thing is this: I
don't agree with
the first thing is the Lomachenko situation, right? So so if he was just following the process for the Lomachenko situation, when Floyd, like I said, this is all public perception. I don't know how serious Floyd was, just for disclaimer. But when Floyd said, "Hey, I'm going to try and make that Lomachenko fight," if he was following just the process, he would just say, "Okay." But he literally said no. He was like, "No, I'm not taking that fight." And because he did that, that's why Bob Arum started trolling Tank. Bob Arum started talking like, "Oh, Tank, Floyd wants to put Tank in front of Lomachenko as punishment," only because of the energy Tank gave back to Floyd, And also there was also an incident, I don't know if you remember this, where Devin Haney talked about talking to Floyd about making the Tank Davis fight. It was a long while ago, and he was like, according to Devin Haney, like I said, disclaimer, I don't know the validity, but this is according to Devin Haney. He said that Floyd said himself, he said, "Listen, I can't force Tank to fight you," So like following the process. So I feel like he did have a lot of say so, because if not, just based on what like the hearsay we get from Floyd, I would expect that Lomachenko fight to have happened way longer than it happened before, like way longer than now, way before, So that's my only thing. But yeah, I think you're right for the most part. Like he's probably gonna, now he has a lot more powers on him, more of the onus is on him. So like he has more control over his career. He doesn't have like the matchmakers as much like dictating as before. But I just think that, I feel like that people were blaming Floyd for like him not fighting those big fights when he himself said, "Hey, I never asked Floyd for the big fights." And based on what we've heard, it looked like when it came to the big fights that we were expecting, because Tank versus Lomachenko would have been big back in the day, because Loma was hailed as like number one pound for pound for whatever reason, the Great White Hope, But like we would have seen those fights. In theory, if Floyd was going to follow up with his word.
No doubt.
That's just my only part.
All right. Well, hold on a second. Let's let Blaze jump in right quick, because Blaze been trying to get a word in. Go ahead, Blaze.
Yeah, thank you. I've been waiting my turn. I don't want to interrupt nobody.
appreciate that
But
too, brother.
yeah, thank you for sure. So here's my thing, right? If we, people pocket check. I mean, it's the business of boxing. You got to keep up with the money in the matrix. It's all mixed up now. Like I was saying in the chat earlier, social media and all that, and the marketing, it's all part of the game. So, different boxers and promoters and teams got to figure out how the best way to leverage it for their advantage. And right now, if you look at the active boxers, the most highest paid active boxer is Canelo, and then I guess arguably the next highest paid would be Tank. Right? He got a 6-year, over $200 million contract. He's got like a football contract or a basketball player contract, and you got to ask yourself, why does he have that contract and nobody else does other than Canelo? Right? And then you got to ask yourself, he got the money already, right? Why did he get that? And the thing is with the tape, he puts people away in spectacular fashion. And the thing to be missed right here is what I've seen missed on here that almost had me ready to flame somebody is like when we're talking about Tank, right? And we're talking about losing rounds, like he's losing rounds setting traps.
Don't
Like,
even
let's be
say
very
nothing,
clear.
bro.
Let's be very I know they need to do this, bro, because we
Man,
need to break them out. Hold up. I'll let you talk, OG. You let me talk. You can come back behind you, then I can come back behind you. But listen, them rounds that he just lost with Frank Martin. One thing about me is I actually watch the fights multiple times, and also listen real closely to what they're saying between rounds when you can hear them. When you have the luxury of hearing what they're saying. Tank walked in front of him with the high guard, and in between the second and third rounds, he's literally telling his corner, I'm going to lower his power level. Then the next round, he says, hey, he's weakening. Then the rounds after that, he says he got him, and he walks him down and puts him away. So this idea that Frank might have won some rounds, Rolly might have won some rounds, even Ryan might have won some rounds, the same people you said won rounds got knocked out. Like surgical, he was swinging for the fences and a flurry and put him away. These were surgical shots. Frank Martin got died twice in that ring. Y'all remember the uppercut and then the hook on him already did. He killed him twice. Ryan put him away with one clean body shot. Like Rolly off the ropes with the counter. One shot knockout. And we're talking about, people won rounds. When it's like, no. And like I said, we're looking at highlights because you get caught up with the knockouts when he outboxes it. And I'll just leave it like this. My classic example, and I want to give the comparison because we're going to do the comparison of who's better. We talk about Haney and we talk about taking the same system. Let's look at the comparison of who they fought. Let's look at Ryan. When Tank fought Ryan, in the second round, he dodged those left hooks that we all know he had, that he told him in the press conference. He dodged 3 left hooks in a row like the Matrix and came over the top with a counter and put him on his ass. What did Devin do?
Meanwhile,
Devin got caught. Listen, hold on. Listen, though, because I'm about to be complete. Meanwhile, Devin gets rocked and hurt with the left hook in the first round. And we know he got better boxing IQ than that. We know he got gas of not fighting this fight. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, where it's like, y'all don't give the respect Tank got. Y'all ain't got to give him the respect. And I'm going to end it like this. You know why y'all ain't got to give him the respect? Because Tank got a 6-fight, $200 million, and it don't even matter who he fights. But it matters to him. You want to know why? Because he's not going to fight no lames. He came off of that when he went to jail and came back. He fought Frank Martin, a dog, undefeated fighter. That was talking that could be future champ one day inside of the camp with Derrick James, who the year before was fighter of the year, but then he gets knocked out and he's a nobody. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Where we can say everything you want to say about it. Tank got that money because he knocks people out in spectacular fashion, and please believe his next fights, because he got that money, he gonna really be fighting somebody. And I can't wait till he gets to Shakur. And I'm complete.
Hold on, boxing hacker. Wait, hold on, boxing hacker. Yeah, salute to you, Blaze. That was really good, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. That was good. I'm just gonna go on and just say that at the end of the day, Tank can win this fight multiple ways. Just because he hasn't shown doesn't mean he doesn't have the ability to. I have to acknowledge what Blaze said. At the end of the day, if the setup is in the play that he's doing, if the setup isn't to stop you, then you're gonna see it. Then you're gonna see it look like one way, but even in that Frank Martin fight, I got to keep it 100. I saw the setup coming. Even though I saw Frank Martin being effective in certain ways, you saw what the game plan was and what he was setting Frank Martin up for, and he ended up ending the fight. And I think that needs to be taken into consideration too, that if he gets in the ring with somebody like a Shakur Stevenson, that he might not have, more than likely he's not going to approach that fight the same way he approached a Frank Martin or he approached any of his other fights. He's probably going to be more responsible and be more focused on winning those early rounds that we've seen him give up, off the strength of understanding the level of boxer he has in front of him and not giving him such a lead that he can't adjust and come back from it. So, I mean, look, time will tell that story. We'll see it. And that's what makes these fights so interesting, is seeing the dynamic breakdown, you know what I'm saying, in these fights and seeing it come together, right? That's what makes it interesting to see how Tank adjusts to that situation with the boxer who he doesn't want to get down with on points, and also seeing Shakur Stevenson deal with a fighter who can put him out and knows how to cut the ring and get to that chin, get to that body, be effective in that way, and stop him as well. That's what makes a fight competitive. Everybody left.
Claymore,
Nobody.
I got one more point. I got one more point, Claymore. I got one more point. You know, Tank took the blueprint from Floyd, right? He got to the bag. Ultimately, Floyd Mayweather got to a 6-fight, $200 million deal with Showtime. Tank got there. And then it's not about the belts no more. It's about the money, right? And then second, when it comes to Tank fighting Shakur, here's my thing where I say, hey, Tank is a complete fighter. He's a boxer. Here's what I believe. He's going to cut off the ring on Shakur, and Shakur hasn't shown any punch resistance at 135. And I'm talking about at 135, what he's shown. He hasn't shown any punch resistance for Tank to not walk him down in high guard, cut off the ring, and beat him in an exchange.
So
people are saying that he's faster than him, so he's going to run away the whole time, because Tank's not going to run from him. Tank's not De Los Santos. Tank's not going to be timid. Tank's going to walk him down. And he'll and Shakur either lose on points by running, because Tank's going to be going for it the whole time, or he's going to get knocked out. And that's my take right now, until he show me something different, because he don't got no offense. He don't got no power in those punches to keep Tank off of him. And he can't win no exchange. So until somebody tells me that he's gonna pity pat and run, and we're dealing with a Tank that, like I told you, he's a boxer and he fights every fighter different. So his adjustment to Shakur is he's not gonna chase him. He's gonna use the angles. He's gonna cut him off, and then he's gonna make him fight out of everything. So it's like this idea that he's gonna run and stick and move, and then Tank's gonna be like slow-footed and all that, and not gonna be able to find this guy. And then if he catches them one time, it's a wrap.
That's a good if, though. So when it comes to Tank,
it's an if. That's why we want to see it.
So when it comes to Tank, right? Tank is more of a boxer puncher. He's not really a boxer. You know, I think Shakur is a pure boxer. And when people say running, Shakur doesn't run. I think people misconstrue something. Shakur
runs. No, Shakur ran from De Los Santos. No, he didn't run the last fight, because Tank called him out on it. Tank said all Shakur does is run, which he doesn't. He has tape. He knows how to slide. Back. He knows how to counter and all of that. No, he didn't even jump back in the last fight. He countered what Tank did. He slid on him and they sit in the box with him. So we know he don't run, but he runs.
Hold up. Let Boxing Hacker get at it so that I can bring in Fly Frequency. Let him have his moment so I can.
Yeah, for sure.
So like when it comes to Shakur is more of a distance fighter. He knows how to keep position. He knows how to move slightly out of the way, so you're missing your shots and jump back into position. You know, I think Del Santos, like I said, Del Santos fight, I think he was going back to a little bit too far. He was a little bit out of position in that fight. But for the most part, for what we've seen of Shakur, he's more of like he controls distance and position really, really well, and his reaction time is really good. When it comes to the style that Tank needs to fight him, I don't think walking him down is going to work. It's not going to work like it worked for Frank Martin. You know, I think if he tries to walk him down, he's going to get outscored completely. I think Tank even said that. Tank said himself that when it comes to a fighter like Shakur, he's going to approach that fight differently. He's just going to come straight at him. You know, more aggressive style versus like try and walk him down and overshadow him while he's doing his work. You know, and so it's for me. I'm not saying that Tank's got a killer like chance to win because he has that devastating punch, you know, and he's very accurate. You know, two things I'll say about Tank. He's super accurate, and he picks up on patterns really quickly. So if we remember, like the Ryan Garcia, the Rolly, even a little bit of the Frank Martin too. Like if you do things like multiple times, he'll catch on to it really quick. That's how Ryan and Rolly both got dropped in their fights because they kept doing the same shot like 2 times, and it was really quick, and really got caught. He caught up into it. But the only difference is that Shakur, it's going to be a question if Tanks, who has the better reaction time, is because Shakur's reaction time has, from what we've seen, has been second to none. Sure, he looked bad in Del Santos' fight, but hell, Del Santos was a puncher, and he didn't even get a bloody nose. Shakur, like, throughout his career, I feel like we've hardly seen him get touched. I don't remember him getting a Mickey on his eye, a bloody nose, or anything, And, like, we've seen people like Valdez, who've known to come to fights and, like, beat the brakes off people, struggle to even touch Shakur. So it's a big question. That's why people think I'm crazy. I say I sort of lean towards Shakur, but now, like, it's not like, even though I like Shakur, I wouldn't say it's like a high lean. I said, like, I would favor Shakur. If you were to say who I put my money on, I'll favor Shakur. But I think it's a very close fight. And it's just going to come down to who has the better reaction time, who's the better boxer of that night, If Tank is able to, like, land on Shakur, it's going to be perfect. And one last thing I want to touch on, when it comes to, like, power punching, and this is why I think Shakur's best bet is to fight on the outside and just keep Tank on the outside. For you to land those power shots, even for Tank, he needs to get that leverage from his back foot. If Shakur can keep Tank moving, he won't be able to get that leverage. I think that would be Shakur's best bet, is to keep Tank on the outside and make the fight as boring as possible. I don't think he should listen to anybody who's telling him to, like, gain more power. That's never been his fight. That's never been his style. His style doesn't even warrant power. His style warrants movement and speed. So he shouldn't even try to do that. He should focus on keeping Tank on the outside. And Tank's best bet is to, like, make sure his feet is fat and try and get on the inside quicker than Shakur can move out of distance. And I'll land with that.
All right. Yeah, that was good input, man. I appreciated that perspective on it. I think going into this fight, and I'm going to be quick and just run right over the fly frequency. More importantly, is going to be no identity crisis in that ring. Everybody needs to know who they are and play their position and be true to themselves. Shakur has the responsibility to be true to himself and fight to his strengths and not get caught up in trying to please the crowd or change the mind of anybody who has an opinion on his abilities or a limitation on what he can or he can't do. He has to be confident on who he is and come into the ring with that mind state and execute on that level. Same thing with Tank, obviously, but real important for Shakur. And I only say that because when you look at the way Devin Haney approached the Ryan Garcia fight, there was definitely an identity crisis to where he tried to jump out of who he is. He came in with the complete wrong strategy and got taken advantage of. Sometimes you have to own who you are and be who you are and know that who you are and got you to the big show. Shout out to Mike Tyson. That make sure you leave the party with who brought you to the dance. Go ahead, Flyer Frequency.
Yeah, that was on point right there, man. I totally agree with that. But you know me, I'm just here to reset the balance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tank fans riding too high, man. I gotta bring the Tinkerbells back down.
Right.
But for real though, man, people out here acting like it's totally impossible for Tank to get outboxed. I mean, I favorite Tank against Shakur, but it's not, you know what I'm saying, impossible for Shakur to go in. He better not go in there and outbox Tank, man, because a lot of people going to be looking stupid. People thinking that Tank is just going to walk through him. I've heard everything from Tank is going to walk through him to Shakur is just going to run. You know what I'm saying? But when people say run, they're basically just talking about him moving and not getting hit. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be up to Tank. If that happens, it's going to be up to Tank to cut off the ring. And his team clearly saw that. And that's why, when Shakur fought De Los Santos after that fight, you know what I'm saying? They was basically voicing that they didn't want us. They weren't interested in that fight and that type of fight from him, because they know that it'd be harder for Tank, people looking at it the wrong way. But if Shakur was to get in there and dance around and pot shot Tank and just try to get out of the way and survive, but actually outpoint him, he'll win if the judges, really count the fight the way that they're supposed to. But of course, there's still the chance that the judges won't give it to him just because Tank is. But if Shakur was to win convincingly enough on points, then they ain't gonna have no choice but to give it to Shakur. If he went in and did something like that, of course it might be a boring fight. People will probably be mad at him not really willing to engage as much as they would like him to. But I don't think that that's what Shakur has to do to even beat Tank, though. I think he can stay in the pocket and make him miss a few times, but not stay in there too long, control the distance a little bit, and he just got to keep giving Tank a lot of different looks, but it's not impossible for Tank to be outboxed, It's just not.
Easier said than done, but it can be done. I agree with you, Flyer. Yo,
We saw one more thing that I'm gonna land it. We saw, Floyd outbox how many punchers? How many power punches did Floyd? And I'm not talking about pretty boy Floyd. I'm talking about Money Mayweather when, he had the brittle hands and all, and he was just, trying to avoid getting hit and went on points. He beat Canelo, a bunch of other guys out there who, was looked at as power punchers, and Floyd wasn't knocking them guys out. He was just beating them.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got like 47 people in here right now. Pretty decent turnout showing up to the show. I appreciate all you guys. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit that. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and take a moment to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, man, I agree with everybody's perspective. And one thing that I'm grabbing from the whole entire conversation that's happening on the panel tonight is just how much we need to see this fight. This fight is a fight that we all want to see, and we all can see ways that Shakur can win or Tank can win, and it's just all these arguments that'll never end until we actually see what happens inside of the ring. But that's what makes these fights great. There's not many fighters that we're going to bring up in the conversation with a Tank or Shakur where we're going to put up these arguments about how they can lose or win these fights, right? So that's what makes these fights significant, and that's the selling point that the boxing space is very interested in seeing these fights, and it's going to be a big fight and probably a big showing in the building as well as in pay-per-views when Shakur and Tank finally meet up. You know what I mean? Right, for sure. Right. Let me ask you guys a question just to kind of change the pace of the conversation a little bit. Blaze walked in on this and kind of shared a general he gave a general response. I don't know if Blaze really tapped in and really explained who he thought it would be, but just basically promised that whoever it was going to be, that it was going to be a great fight because Tank is going to pick somebody of high value. But my question is to the guys on the panel here is, what is Tank's fight going to be? Who do you guys see as a front runner, being that Robert Garcia has kind of been speaking negatively towards the idea of Rayo fighting Tank, saying as far as the time he needs to get ready and, just doesn't seem like Rayo's a guaranteed fighter for Tank. Where do you see Tank going that makes more sense right now?
Yo, let me answer that question real quick because I've been thinking about that, right?
Yeah,
and I'm gonna answer this question, right? And I don't, me personally, I don't want to see this right now. But if I just to be unbiased completely, if I was Tank, I would aim for Devin Haney. I would literally aim for Devin Haney's coming off, even though it's not a loss, it's a rough outing. He's coming off a rough outing where we don't know what he's like. It is the best chance for him. He still has an undefeated record, and that fight will do numbers. Just on the fear fact that so many people, because Devin Haney has so many of these like anti-Haney fans, and and they've had this cult. It makes to me, and like I said, for me, I don't want to see because like I said, Devin Haney had a rough outing, so I don't know where he is. I would like to see him be like off a good outing. But like if I was just Tank, if I was just him, that would be who I would target for, because you don't want to target for somebody with a title, because then you have to you have to support the title. If you had to get a title at 140, now I have to start competing at 140. I don't want that. I want to still compete at 135. But I know Devin Haney is somebody that just got off a rough fight. Who knows? Like he might just be chinny now because of the shots he took. I'm a power puncher. Like that would definitely be who I would aim for if I was Tank.
That's interesting. That's an interesting. That's the first time I ever heard that before. What about you, Flyer? Who you think?
I think Hacker trying to set Tank up, man. But no, I think Devin Haney might be a harder fight for Tank than Shakur would be because he has the reach advantage. He's longer. As far as that touch or whatever reach for Tank. It'll be harder for Tank to get in there, and I think it'll be harder. If Devin learned anything from this, whole Ryan Garcia Osterman thing and him not sticking to the game plan, it's for him to stick to the game plan, and not lose focus. I think that experience probably made him a little more focused, hopefully a little less likely to deviate from the game plan, from from being who he's supposed to be, and not trying to stand there in the middle and bang it out with somebody who is known for power, you know. Um, but I don't think that him aiming for Devin Haney at 140 would be a bad idea though. If he was able to beat Devin Haney and get the title, he don't really have to campaign at 140. He could just, drop the belt and go back down to
Devin doesn't have to go.
135. It'll just be for the accolades.
But
Devin
just
doesn't
to
have
add, just to take away from this, and just want you to be clear on your answer because I'm gonna move on to Blaze. But realistically speaking, I'm talking about his next fight coming up here in November. It's not going to be Devin Haney. Devin Haney's in the conversation.
Definitely not.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying, who realistically do you think the Tank is getting ready to announce a fight in the coming days? I believe that in the next week or two, he's going to be announcing. Who's it going to be?
We know it's not going to be Shakur. We know it's not going to be Loma. I think it'll probably end up being that the other guy who got the belt. What's the guy who got the what he got the IP?
Dennis Baranchek.
Yeah. I think it's going to be him. The least likely opponent. It makes sense. It makes sense. He got the belt.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be a fight bigger than the Frank Martin fight because this is the end of the year fight, and I'm sure that PBC wants to close out strong. So
that too.
Yeah,
the Frank Martin fight wasn't such a big fight though. It wasn't that big of a fight, was it?
It would be bigger.
He's saying it would have to be bigger than that fight. I can co-sign that. I think personally, I agree. I think the Dennis Baranchek fight is the fight for Tank to make as far as aligning with what his goals were that he said he wanted to do, him becoming a unified undisputed champion at 135, him wanting to accomplish that. Well, I'll tell you like this. If I don't see him make that fight next, I'm going to question his how bad he wants to be undisputed. I'm going to say, all right, well, he's not really holding undisputed that high as a priority of what he wants to do, that he's still looking to chase money. Then I only say that because I know that he's got this big deal with Amazon, which I think is $240 million. I would think that although making as much money is going to be important to him also taking into consideration that he's also building up the value of the Shakur Stevenson fight, and that, it would make the Shakur Stevenson fight make more sense to me as far as where we are right now. Because I believe right now for myself that Tank would like to see him and Shakur Stevenson meet in an undisputed situation. You know what I'm saying? I think that he's building up the fight. The value of that fight is going to be a very high value fight if undisputed is on there. So Shakur Stevenson has his responsibility to go and go get a belt probably, which will probably be the Lomachenko situation. And Tank has a responsibility to go get his belts, right? Tank can make the Dennis Baranchek fight a lot easier, I think, because Bob Arum is going to run that interference from that happening. But Loma has enough leverage to tell Bob Arum, yo, no, this is the fight that we're going to make. I could see Shakur Stevenson potentially getting a Lomachenko fight down the line, and I could see Tank gathering that belt from Dennis Baranchek, and when they meet up, it being an undisputed title fight, which will make it even a bigger fight. I mean,
you don't think? Clay, can I jump in?
You don't think he would rather it be Loma? Because that's the biggest fight.
I'm not saying who he would rather it be, but I'm saying the opportunity is in front of him right now to go knock Dennis Baranchek off and collect that belt. And Shakur had that little confrontation with Lomachenko at that Riyadh event, it looks like that could also manifest as well. So I'm just saying what he would rather be, Loma, but Loma already kind of played his duck card on
No,
Tank.
I mean as far as it being for undisputed, meeting up at the end for undisputed.
Nah, he doesn't want
With
to fight.
Loma,
He doesn't want to fight Loma.
it'll be a bigger fight because
I think it's Shakur. I think Shakur is what Tank wants, but we'll see. Go ahead, Blaze. What do you think?
Yeah, first I want to eliminate any possibility. I believe that he'll fight Devin, all for the simple fact that if Devin has to come down to 140, I don't think he can make it with a rehydration clause. So that's why I don't think it is. It's just I don't think it's feasible for him. He blows up to 160, 165, even when he's at 140. So I think just the size disadvantage, just the size imbalance, right, makes that fight not feasible for me. And then if, like you said, if we're talking about the hypothetical, I got to hear what he's saying if he's really talking about undisputed, because like I said, Tank's different because he already got the guaranteed money in the bag. So he's not chasing the bag. He's got it. With his team and what the promoters and Amazon have to do, if they have to set up the best situation to get a return on investment. Because if you're averaging 40 million a year and he's fighting some of these people, I don't think these people are raking in 40 million. But an undisputed title shot with Shakur would. An undisputed title shot with Lomachenko would. So when you're talking about the chess game, I don't necessarily know who he's fighting next. But if he's setting up for that, then I'm just interested to see, how it play out. But all the cards is in Tank's hands right now. And so what I do know is that he's going to be fighting somebody at a high level because they already paid him that money. So they're not going to have him. He's not going to fight a nobody. Like they're not going to do that because they done invested in the narrative, invested in them trying to get the best return. And, with that type of promotion, and when you look at how Mayweather do it, or, they're going to prep the opponent to be able to help sell the fight as well. Like, what him and Ryan did was phenomenal. Obviously, it's like, I can't say that was the same trend when they did with Frank. Frank wasn't a big name, right? So he couldn't, and he don't have that type of personality. So they couldn't sell it like that. But you can respect that fight because that fight wasn't necessarily just a money grab or a tune-up. He was undefeated. And so what I'm so that's where my calculus is at, is like, I really don't know who he's going to fight next. Y'all make an interesting point about the setup. The setup has to be something big. So my counter question to you, Clay, would be, what would be the setup for the biggest fight if he's already getting the guaranteed money and they trying to make $100 million fight? And my thing where I'll leave like this is, I have an issue with trying to project out big numbers now because I think we hit a turning point, an inflection point with streaming. I think we hit a point after he fought Ryan, that, hey, man, these guys still in these fights is real. Because it's like, I pay for the fights that I watch because I have the resources to pay. And I want to support these boxers who put their life on the line to be entertained. But I also find myself buying the fight and then having it also streaming on the other device when I can move around. You feel me? And so this is how bad it done got. It's just convenient. You feel me? And so, we watching a lot of people with a lot of casuals. And it's like maybe the motto as far as the money is gone, and he got the grandfather deal that nobody might not ever get a guaranteed deal like that no more, because this streaming stuff is really real. It's kind of like Napster in 2000 for you old heads. The youngsters might not know about that when it switched over from MP3 and you was able to copy and steal music, and it killed the business model with album sales. So I think that's where we're at right now with boxing, and it's unfortunate because now the business, why everybody's trying to figure out the calculus, and all these networks is trying to figure out how do they make the money because everybody's going to steal it. So that's just where I'm at with it, where, like I said, my counter question to you, Claymore, is if it's not this fight because everybody ain't situated, what would be the ultimate fight setup for them to make the biggest return with Tank within that contract that he got?
I think the biggest fight right now, presently, with everything that's in front of us now, because things can change, fighters can lose, things can, the goalposts can be moved depending on what these fighters do in the ring. And we got a lot of fights that are going to be between right now until the end of that fight deal that Tank has. So right now, looking at it, I ain't gonna lie, I think Shakur Stevenson is the fight. I think it's the big fight. I think Loma would have been the big fight, but I think Loma has aged out a little bit. And I think people are and I don't think Loma is really he's not showing me that he's really up for it. Because if he was really up for it and it showed he was really motivated and we saw that fire in him, maybe he could revitalize our belief in him being a big opponent for Tank. But right now, I think the consensus is that Tank is just going to get rid of Loma inside of like 7 rounds, right? So Shakur seems to be the one right now, not only that has the space buzzing right now, but also has the backing right now. He can bring the element called turkey a la cheek to the table that's going to be able to compound and add to whatever Amazon is offering and really make it a big fight, big money fight. Especially if the titles are involved, because we all know Turkey loves to unify and make undisputed champions in these divisions. I think Shakur and Tank can cultivate the perfect storm to be the biggest fight and the biggest money fight that Tank is going to be able to get.
And Claymore, I agree with you, but you know what Shakur has to do, and I'm a Shakur fan. Don't get it twisted for anybody who hear me with his critique. I just got high expectations for that young boy. I got high expectations, with both sides of the sweet science. What Shakur has to do, and he has the opportunity to do, it doesn't matter who he fights. All he has to do is put on a spectacular performance, put it all together, put that defense with his offense, whoop somebody's ass like Mayweather did Gotti. And then that fight is right for whether it's undisputed or not. We all want to see Tank versus Shakur. But for me as a fan of Shakur has to show me and show up that he has the offensive prowess to really be able to compete and beat Tank. And that's just where I'm at with it. So I agree. I think that's the best fight. I don't even think it got to be for undisputed. I think Shakur has to put on a phenomenal performance. It don't even got to be by nobody great. But he needs to compound that defense with that offense, show us some beautiful tape, and all we need is one fight, and then they set it up, and they're going to get paid. And that's just what I believe.
Hey, Blaze, you talking about a big fight for a return for Amazon, though. So, really, Tank, like you said, Tank already got the money. It ain't about the money to Tank right now. It's about the accolades with Tank, history. And so that being said, looking at, the accolades that they all have, I think, this list is real. Is this list that he's talking about real or not? As far as I understood, Devin Haney is on that list too.
So, but like I said, it got to be realistic. But what I'm telling you is that if he beat Shakur, right, like his legacy solidified, he beat the best at 135. Because what are we talking about? It's Tank and Shakur, and then there's levels to this shit. There's a drop down, like real talk. That is the fight.
But Shakur ain't never fight Loma though.
I mean, but Loma, look, what I'm telling you is I understand Loma's there, but Loma's aging out. Loma's Hall of Fame, he's solidified. That's not the fight no more. There's going to be all types of excuses. We're going to have it where it's like he's not in his prime no more.
But Loma got a belt, but I wasn't thinking
the fight.
I wasn't thinking of neither one of those guys though. I was thinking that if we're following this list that Tank has and Devin Haney being on that list, clearly Devin Haney is the most decorated champion on that list.
But Flyer,
out of all of them guys,
but Flyer, Tank can have him on the list, but Haney has to get down to 140 with the rehydration calls. Like, you got to understand, Tank's smart.
You saying get down to 140 like he not there already.
No, but did you see?
Last fight was at 140. Y'all acting like he 155, 154 right now. So
I know, but listen though, Franklin, he still got to only rehydrate to a limit of 10 pounds.
Well, Tank never
said who? Says who? Tank never said that.
Listen,
y'all be putting them rehydration clauses on there.
No, Tank did say that. There's a viral video of him saying, "Hey man, of course I'm gonna put a rehydration clause."
He was talking about that was taken out of context. He was talking about Ryan Garcia before the Ryan Garcia fight.
He was talking in general about any fight that he took, bro. Like, I'm not making this up. One thing about it, I don't make up.
We know you're not making it up. We saw it, but it was taken out of context, bro. That was all the way before the Ryan Garcia fight. He was talking about the rehydration clause that he put on Ryan Garcia, and people took that and ran with it with the Devin Haney thing. But that was old, bro.
Okay, until he fights somebody without a rehydration clause, then I'm a believer. Until then,
he fought Frank Martin without a rehydration clause.
Who?
Frank Martin, his last fight was without a rehydration clause.
At 135?
Y'all just trying to make
without rehydration clause. So, one thing I'll say, like, we look at it as fight fans, right? But if we look at it from the perspective of the promoter, which is PBC and Amazon, you do not, if let's say Shakur looks great, his next 2 fights. You do not want to fight Shakur your third out if you have a 6-fight deal. You know why? Because you look at Shakur as Tank, what you call Tank's immortal game. Like, for instance, Pacquiao was Floyd's immortal game, right? Where it's like the biggest fight of his career. All other fights that go after it are just going to be less, you know? So instead, you will want to push it out till his last fight.
I disagree. Though. I'm gonna tell you why. Though.
You
Go
disagree
ahead.
as a fan, but I'm talking about
as a business. I'm gonna tell you about the business. I'm gonna tell you why. And there's precedent because Mayweather's last fight wasn't the biggest fight in his 6-contract fight.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't look. What I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be the last fight. It just has to project up to kill, bro. Like it's 6 fights. They got 6 fights to hit.
But that's
they got 6 fights to hit.
That's my point, though, right? Because you see, his last fight was worth less than the fight before, which was Pacquiao. His immortal game was Pacquiao. So if I'm a promoter, I want that to be close to the end. Because
but Floyd's last fight was Berto. What I'm trying to tell you is when he got the Pacquiao before then. You just got to get to the big fight. It doesn't have to be the last fight. That's what I'm telling you. And what we think right now is the big fight is Shakur. It don't have to be last. It just has to be right.
I agree.
It just has to be right. And Shakur got to do his part. Yep.
I'm not denying what you're saying. What I'm saying is this: if I'm the promoter, I don't want it to be the second fight. I don't even want it to be a third fight. It has to be close to the end because if I think those
I hear you. I got you. I hear you.
You see what I'm saying? I always want it to be close to the end because that's his biggest fight. If he fights the second fight as a big fight, all the other fights are gonna be worth less.
But all I would say is as a business though, if you can get to it the second fight, it don't matter because what happens is you make the big fight, you upraise his stardom, and then y'all can leverage the other fights to still to beat the fans. They'll still pay for it and be underwhelmed. We're talking about they're talking about getting their money, bro. Right? We're talking about a business. They're just interested in their bottom line, bro. If they can clear and make the profit and kill on the second fight, that's what they're gonna do. They're not gonna wait till 6 fights. That's a risk. Because think about it. The risk is Tank might lose. So while you're talking about let's wait till the 4th fight, there's 3 fights where he has an opportunity to lose. And then he's damaged goods.
Let him finish, boxing hacker.
Huh? One second,
I said let him finish. Y'all talking at the same time.
Yeah,
I'll let Hacker go. I'll let Hacker go first. Go ahead.
Yeah. So,
go ahead, Hacker.
No, I agree. No, don't get me wrong. I agree what you're saying. But like, I'm just speaking from as a fan perspective. I want to see a fight next. As if I was Amazon or PBC, no, I wouldn't want that to be next because one, you want to. If I'm looking at this guy as a person who's going to generate Tank the most money, then I'm considering that he made like as long as they have good matchmakers, you know, they don't put him there with like risky fights. That I can keep building upon and maximize the potential of the fight moving forward. You know, if you look at let's look at take Floyd for Pacquiao, right? If that fight had happened earlier, it wouldn't have generated as much revenue as it did when it happened later. Even though all of us feel like it happened too late. A lot of us feel like it happened too late.
But it was later than their skill, but their brand was at the highest.
Huh?
Who kids still woke this time of night?
That's mine. That's my listen, man. Listen, that baby, that 21-year-old baby be up till 3:00, bro. Listen, it's early for her.
But I know how it is. But like, yeah. So it's just I don't know. Like, I think they're going to. I think that's why and this is like pure speculation. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think that's why Shakur is taking the fights he's taking now because there's less risk. I think him and Tank know that like they're playing something for both themselves.
I was just about to ask you, that's what you're trying to say, that Tank team is perfect. I mean, specifically trying not to fight Tank right now too early. I mean, trying not to fight Shakur too early.
I don't think it's fear. I don't think either side is afraid of each other. I think they want that money. You know, I think that's what it is. And I think they're rolling the dice because, like you said before, any fighter can lose. You understand?
So they're purposely not sending them the contract.
Yeah. We saw Devin lose, like, any fighter can lose at any time, you know. And if the fighter loses, it might take away from the earning potential of the fight. But I think they're rolling the dice. They're probably going to do careful matchmaking for Tank too. Like, we're probably not going to see like Like the fight that Tank's gonna do is probably gonna be exciting, but he's gonna be like a very clear favorite if I'm gonna bet.
And you know what? You guys are changing my mind about what I thought was Shakur, because I thought Shakur was silent about Tank because he didn't want to fight him. And I think now it's the business aspect of it. I think they recognize that they make more money. He has to handle his business. Because remember Shakur. Remember, he wanted that fight and he said it respectfully.
Yep.
He was like, I think me and Tank is the biggest fight. That's where it's up to him. I really want to make the fight. That's one thing about where I believe with Shakur, he really want to fight Tank. Because when he said it, he came like straight humble. Because he know he's the A side. He's like, bro, I really want to fight. Like, I really want, like, forget the business and all that. It's like, I believe my skills is that good. He wants Tank, but the business is bad. He's bad right now. You feel me? As far as like not being able to sell. And so they're trying to build him up. That's why he's on the undercard on pay-per-view. They're trying to see it because then boom, he gets on the undercard on pay-per-view, right? Then if he does good, then they can make a pay-per-view where he headlines. So just think Cordina Zepeda, bro. That's what they're talking about, right? Think, bro. If he does what I would want him to do, like I told him, make that beautiful tape with Cordina, right? Boom. Then he has the opportunity to headline against Zepeda, a formidable
he could grab
opponent.
some of those. He could grab some of those fans from Cordina too.
From Cordina and then Zepeda, right? Golden Boy. He get the brown vote. You feel me? He get the fans, right? Boom. Then it lines it up. But they know they're looking at the numbers because, like I said, what they're looking at now with Tank and is like Tank got the money. They're trying to make it back. You feel me? It's just like any sports team, bro. It's like, look, bro, you pay somebody with a contract, right? You pay him $240 million guaranteed, but then he blow his knee out. And then it's like, damn, you stuck with the contract. You feel me? It's like, this is what he did. He's the only one that got that contract now. So Tank's playing ball with him because he's that guy. He's not going to want to fight a bum. No, he's going to let it marinate. He's going to fight high-level competition. He's going to work with PBC, Al Heyman, just like Mayweather was a partner with him. He's a partner with him. He's not just a boxer. You see what I'm saying? And he's on his dean now when he did that time. He got his mind right. So he's about his business right now. So they're going to set up the fight and make the fight right. And they know the projections with the numbers. And the key is Shakur to handle his business. That's why you don't see, because look, I'm thinking this is where I believe now. Because think, you don't hear Tank talking crazy about Shakur either.
Yeah,
he wants his brand to be bigger. He wants Shakur to be big. He needs Shakur to be big. You see what I'm saying? And then this is when we talk about black excellence right here. We talk about black excellence. You feel me? Because then we talk about these brothers, these young brothers right now at the top of the sport, right? Playing the long game in their 20s. You see what I'm saying? To give us what we want. So that's where I'm like, I'm glad I had this conversation because y'all making me change my mind about what we're seeing right here. Because I'm looking at what they're saying and what they're doing. And I got to drop it like that, Claymore. Otherwise, I go too much, man. I got to drop it. I'm flamed it. Go ahead.
Nah, listen, man. I love this conversation and I love these conversations, right? Because that's what this is all. I swear to you, that's what this is all about for me. This space right here is building and getting to this point because we all got to share ideas and we're not always going to agree. But like, for example, what you're saying right now, this is what I've been saying the whole time, right? I've been saying this. If you pay attention to me on Blue Blood, if you pay attention to me, what I've been saying here is this is not about ducking. This is not about ducking, man. This is not about Shakur not wanting to fight Tank or scared to fight Tank. And this is not about Tank not wanting to fight Shakur. This is about the right rollout. This is about pulling out the potential that this fight has. If Shakur can check those boxes and do what he's supposed to do and build up that market value, and Tank is given the opportunity, which he is going to have the opportunity to do what he does, which he's already doing. He's a face of boxing. Then this has an opportunity to make both these guys more money than either one of them is made, right? Because all the storm is coming together, man. The stars are lining up. You got Turkey, who's interested in seeing something and being part of something great. You have Al Heyman coming back out of hiatus and doing what he's doing. You got Tank right now in the driver's seat putting together the biggest fights. You have titles that's going to be involved in the conversation right now. Why jump the gun and put this fight as a replacement fight to a Lomachenko fight right now and rush anything when we can allow Shakur to play his part and let's see if we can add some more elements to this to this gumbo. Let's see if we can add more ingredients and spice this thing up and really make this a big show and a big extravaganza, a real rollout. And I think people aren't taking that into consideration enough. I think they're jumping into fear and ducking and all those things, and they're not jumping into the real money that can be behind this fight.
The business of boxing. And I would just end with this, Clay. Here's the other part of my theory. Because Tank got the guaranteed, right? But I'm confident he got points on the back end. So he got all the incentive in the world to exceed the guaranteed. You see what I'm saying? And it's in his best interest to build up Shakur because he gets it on the back end with the pay-per-views. Like I said, I'm hard to believe the pay-per-views with the streaming. I hope people pay. I hope they figure it out. But I think that's what it is. Because you see, I'm watching how these young boys move, and they're in their 20s. And if they just run off of their emotions and all that, it's like, hey, you would see Tank talking crazy, or they're talking crazy. There's enough Tank. But if you notice, he ain't talking crazy. Tank ain't like, oh, he ain't saying nothing now. He don't want to see me. And then you see Shakur. Shakur ain't never really been talking like Tank, like to Tank like that. Because that's why
and acknowledge that they spoke, right? That Shakur's already told them we spoke. Yeah. And we have that understanding. You heard what he said. We gonna fight eventually, no matter what. He's a champion, I'm a champion.
Yeah.
Right there, he's letting you know. He's letting you know right then and there, we good. We on the same page about how we moving forward with this from now on, right now. And nobody else matters at this point. I don't care about your opinion. Oh, you want to say I'm ducking? Okay, I'm gonna laugh at you guys because I know what I know. And that's not for me to communicate to you guys, but that's for me to show you guys and do what I'm gonna do. So me going over here with Eddie Hearn for these 2 fights is not by accident or coincidence. It's by design. It's part of the game. Right.
And but Clay, they better hurry up before Abdullah Mason or Keyshawn Davis or somebody come and be that monkey wrench, though.
Listen, everything has to move right, man. Everybody has to do their job, man. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And so I think I want to interested to see with this because I'm interested to see if Shakur, with understanding the business, if he can stay the course, if he can tune out all the criticism that he's gonna get with fighting whoever, and focus on getting in that ring, because all Shakur needs is great tape. This is what all his fans need. They need, I'm telling you, they go by watch Mayweather Gotti. You feel me? All he needs is a performance like that. And then his sins are forgiven with De Los Santos and the tweets and everything. Because the aesthetic of that boy when he gets in the ring and fight is the nicest. Man. You know, and that's what we want, man. Like, it's beautiful, man. His shit's like art when he put it all together. You can go to Yoshino. You feel me? When he puts it all together, man, it's beautiful. He has to put it together with Heron. But the thing is, Heron was old. Yoshino's a nobody. He gotta put it together with a name. He put it together with a Zepeda. You feel me? Come on, man. That's all he needs. You feel me? It don't gotta be elite. It don't gotta be top. It just gotta be a name. You feel me? It just gotta be a name. Just imagine if he could lock up with T.O. If he put it on with T.O., just imagine what that fight would be. You feel me? But he has to fight spectacular just against a name. It doesn't have to be super big, but it has to be a name where people say, I know that guy. I know that guy. If they like, I don't know that guy. But nobody respects Bud fighting Madronov. You feel me? Because nobody knew Madronov. He don't got a name. So the fact that he went the distance with him he's not respected for that because it's the entertainment part of it too. And so that's just what Shakur got to do. He got to eat Cordina because he's not going to get no respect for it. But if he got the tape on there, his fans is going to be talking big shit. We're going to be talking big shit. I'm going to talk big shit. If he get him out of there and fight perfect, I'm going to be like, he handled his business. And this is what it looks like. Now let's see if he can put it together and build up to fight a Tank. We can start talking more like he got confidence. But if he put it together against a Zepeda, and then in Matchroom and Golden Boy, and the money's gonna be right too. You feel me? And the promotion's gonna be right too. If he do that, then the Tank and Shakur fight's ripe.
No doubt. But guys, look,
hey fellas, I gotta jump off the call. Work time for me, guys. So
okay, yeah, because we definitely about to wrap it up soon. So
in the chat. Good chatting
I
with you guys.
appreciate you, Box Hacker. Real good conversation tonight. Thank you guys for respecting each other and respecting each other's voices, man. That goes a long way and helps us go a lot smoother. Thank you, guys. Ray Davis, I know you're in the building. You want to drop something?
Yeah, no, I actually like what Blaze just said. I mean, I was coming up here from earlier. No, I'm just messing with you. I ain't do that. No, I just actually was really listening to what he was saying the whole way through, and I was complimenting him in the chat. A lot of good points, a lot of strong positions that he made for Tank. There's a few things I disagree with. But then you know what? At the end of the day, those are opinionated conversations. So me disagreeing with it means nothing. I think what he came to realize after talking about how Shakur and Tank's fight is going to be masterful, and Shakur does need to pull his end of the deal and grab the wheelbarrow and pull his own weight, is important. That's very important. I think we've been saying that this whole time. I think we already know where Tank is. We already see where his establishments are. He's the A side. He's going to hold all the weight. Now you need to bring your side up. You know what I mean? Climb that mountain and make it happen. I'm not saying that guy need to go out there and be Shakur. He doesn't have to go out there and be like the greatest star of all time. No, but like you said, he needs to get this guy up out of there. At the same time, we have to understand a lot of people don't even know who this fighter is. A lot of people don't know Joe Coutinho. And it comes down to that. You know what I mean? That's why I was comparing the situation with Earl moving to 54 and Fedor. Well, nobody questioned Fedor taking that fight over Bud because people like Spence, like you were saying. Nobody knows who Cordina is. So when you don't know a fighter, you have tendencies of saying, yo, look, this is a bad fight. It's a bad matchup. This guy's taking the easy way out and things of that nature. We'll find out when he gets to the ring with Zepeda. We'll find out if he takes the fight with Loma or Tank next, and as that fight builds up, or even Bernchek, whoever gets that fight. We'll see what happens at the end of the day, and that's going to make what the crowd wants, what the fans want. So we have to let it marinate. We've been saying this for a long time. You can't just cook your steak without throwing a seasoning on it. Pause on that frequent. But at the same time, you know what I mean? You got to be able to, you know what I mean? Let things cook and simmer for a little bit. If you don't let it cook, it's not going to be well done. And that's what we want. You know, at the end of the day, as boxing fans, we want the recipe to be right. And if it's not the right recipe, what are we doing? All we're doing is
joking about Chris Colbert, though, right?
Oh, no, I think that's a possibility still, man. I told you, there's not many fighters left, man. A lot of people at 135 are all tied up, man. There's a lot of things. They're either tied up. I've said this a lot of times. And I'm not saying Chris Colbert as he's the number one person of getting in the ring. No. What I'm saying is a possibility due to the fact that there's a lot of fighters that are tied up in boxing. But I don't want to go on that because Clay about to get off. So I just wanted to come in and say,
back, Clay. He on vacation. Throw him in the back, man.
Yo,
throw him in the back.
Salute, man. I just wanted to come up
came up on the panel. Yeah, salute to everybody who came up on the panel tonight, man. It was an actual very productive conversation. I really appreciate you guys being respectful. Shout out to everybody who came up in the chat. Listen, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and make sure you do that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. You see how we carry it. The conversations are great on this channel. And we, you know, I mean, we love boxing, and we're going to be talking about boxing. We didn't get to talk about Diego Pacheco as much as I wanted to talk about Diego Pacheco's fight this weekend, and you know, that fight and its relationship to where he lands in the Canelo sweepstakes, or even in the getting a title shot in that 168-pound division. Diego doesn't get talked about a lot. His last two performances haven't been like the most exciting performances, but he's definitely an up and coming talent in the division. But we'll talk about that maybe tomorrow night. You know what I mean? We'll build on that conversation. But on that note, guys, you know what I mean? I don't know if Blaze, if you want to leave the people with anything, any gems that you want to leave them with before we bounce out.
I just appreciate you having me on the platform. Shout out to all the other panelists. And, you know, I love, you know, boxing. I love good conversations, you know. And like I said, we can have differences of opinions, but when we listen to each other, you know, we can get some more clarity as far as, you know, really insight into the love of the sport. And so I just appreciate your platform. I appreciate all the other individuals that got platforms that love the sport. And just thank you for having me on the show.
No doubt, man. Salute, King. Appreciate you. To the next one.
Peace, brother.
We out.
Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard. hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation. Now I got rollies all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Squatting all black like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. I ain't make it this far to myself. I had to prove to everybody else. I had to set them straight. I had to ball, so I had to renovate. I know they hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out. Yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment. I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate.